Okay, hello. Welcome. Nice to see you all. Hi. How you doing? No. Okay, man, we got a lot to talk about, gang. Non-fun. Nice to see you. Wick is a DEI hire. True, actually. Right? Very true. There weren't enough white bearded guys with glasses in the space, and they needed more. So they reached out to me, the deep state. They called me up and was like, "We need you to start streaming." And the CAA gave me my orders, and now here we are. Yoav El Wazana, nice to see ya. Yo, what's up to you as well? How's it going? How's it going? We got a lot to talk about today, and not too much time to talk about it. We have a debate panel coming up in about an hour, a little over an hour, on whether or not we should excuse bad actions or bad actors from our political side in order to win politically, like to gain political points, political gains, to gain votes, etc. Like, where is the line we should draw? And we all know what this is referring to. Recently, Destiny had his situation. That's not the only lens to look at it through, though, but it is one lens, and we will be talking about it. But that's in an hour. Oddly related, actually, we have something to discuss today. Before that I wanted to go live a little early and talk about with you all. Old Scotty says that was the most disgusting press conference ever seen. It's up there. It's up there. But let's talk about it, right? Let's get into it. So for those of you who are unaware, last night a Black Hawk helicopter flew into collided with a passenger jet at an airport. They haven't found any survivors yet. They don't expect to. 60 plus people were on board the passenger jet. At least that's what I'm seeing reported. Tragic event. Tragic event. One of the worst aviation disasters we've had in, oh my goodness, years. A long time. And my heart goes out to the victims. My heart goes out to their families. My heart goes out to those who were affected by this tragic event. On the other side of the coin, minutes after tragedy, we had the old political machine geared up, churned up, and ready to rock with the same old being blamed. DEI was blamed immediately. Not the bodies weren't even cold. Yeah, they were still swimming with the fishies in the rivers. Okay. And people were spouting off about how this is because of DEI. Minutes after that, I saw tweets saying that Trump was to blame. This was Trump's fault. Look at Trump's America. Trump is responsible for the disaster. Trump, blah, blah, blah. Orange man bad. Orange man bad. Both of these kinds of immediate knee-jerk responses, when we had no information, when we had no evidence one way or another, we don't know what caused it. It's kind of gross. It's kind of disgusting. And I want to talk about it a little bit. The reasons we feel the need to engage in that kind of behavior. The reasons we feel the need to kind of use every event as a weapon against our enemies, against our political bugaboos, if you will. In the world that is creating, in the incentives that structures that are at play that is causing all this to happen, and so much more. Night of Day says, I thought Wick got deported. Not yet. I've escaped ICE. Haha, we're dodging. We're going to read some of these tweets, by the way. We'll go through it, right? But I just want to let people kind of shuffle in. So in about 2 minutes, I got some tweets to read. I got some responses to read. And we can look at what people are saying. Did you guys see the Trump press conference about this morning? yeah, he's doing the same thing, right? And frankly, it's unpresidential, and it's unbecoming. It's wrong. I wish I could say it was only the Trumpies doing this, but I cannot. Unfortunately, many on my side of the political aisle have decided to also use this tragic event as a weapon and a cudgel to use against their enemies. And we'll be talking about that too with some examples. But I'm just sad, gang. Look, I'm just disappointed, okay? I'm disappointed in the people who I thought were my allies and the people around me and just the nation, honestly. We should be better than this. We should be better than this. But for some reason, a lot of people decided that this kind of action wasn't. They weren't mad at Republicans for chanting DEI, DEI, DEI after every tragedy. They were jealous that they couldn't do a similar thing. They were mad because, well, I just want to shout Trump at everything. They were mad that they couldn't do the same thing. They didn't have any really moral compunction against this type of behavior. They just didn't want it used against them. And they wanted to use it against their opponents. And for me, who has a moral compunction against this kind of behavior, it just felt very disappointing. Very disappointing. But it's 6 o'clock. Let's get to some of those tweets that I promised. Let's see. Here. This is, I think, the best tweet I've seen on this. And I want to start positive. Can we start positive? This is the stance that Trump should have taken. This is the stance that everyone should be taking, okay? At least in the immediate aftermath of the accident. This is the correct stance, and I want to show it to you guys. I want to demonstrate it so you know when I say, what's the proper response to tragedy like this when we want to hold people accountable who are responsible? Well, this is it. And let's look at it. Let's discuss it, okay? Here, I'll get it a little up for you guys. Boop, boop. From Connor Friedersdorf. I don't know how to say his last name, gang. I apologize to whoever this is. With regard to the cause of the airplane/helicopter collision, and this goes from everyone from POTUS to his critics to you and me, the right posture is, we don't know the cause. We'll probe it without preconceptions or regard for the ideological valence of the outcome. That's what we should be doing. This is the world we should be living in. This is the response. This is the correct answer. There are correct answers to these problems. This is it. This is the correct stance to have. Until we know more, because, again, especially in the immediate aftermath, we didn't know shit, okay? We are getting a little more evidence is dripping out, right? But this is the stance that our officials should be taking, and they're not, and that's bothersome. This is what Trump or Trump's representatives should have come out and said, but they didn't. And that's, again, irresponsible and disappointing. It's wrong, gang. It's wrong. We don't know what the cause was. We need to investigate the cause. This was a tragedy, and we don't want it to ever happen again. This isn't the time to play political games. Figure out why this happened, figure out what caused it, and then fix the problem. Nair Sock says, a helicopter flying into a jet caused it. Well, yes, but what levels, where was the points of failure that caused this accident, right? We don't know yet. We don't know yet. And we'll find out. The investigation will happen. But one of the problems with making statements like the president did is now it's kind of tainted the well. It makes it hard to independently investigate these kinds of situations because he's out there preaching that it was this. So if the official investigation finds anything else other than what he preached to his choir, people won't believe it. It erodes trust in the system, and it creates this sense of falsity to everything. And it's really hard to engage with reality, and we need to. It's very important that we figure out what actually caused this, what the actual point of failure was. I'm going on a plane trip in February, right? I'm going on a plane trip in February to see some friends and my family, okay? They need to fix this so I don't get a helicopter doesn't crash into my plane, okay? I really want this to happen. I really want this fixed. But we can't when we are so quick to politicize everything. And again, it disappoints me that tweeters on Twitter have the correct answer very easily when our president does not. Tessie Johnson had a 25 stream watch streak? What the hell? You've seen 25 of my streams in a row? Don't you have friends? What's going on? Tessie Johnson says, I hope jokingly, that this happened under a Trump presidency. This would never have happened if Biden was president. And that's the other side of the coin we're going to get to in a second. But I just wanted to take the initial time to say that I'm just very disappointed in Trump's response to this. I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed. I think that he's making it harder to actually fix the problem and discover what the problem is. If the problem, right, is DEI, it will come out in the investigation. We don't need to predict, okay? Especially someone who is the leader of our nation, who's supposed to keep us united, whose job it is to keep us safe, right? We need to have trust that our leaders are going to go through these things with an unbiased eye, especially tragedies like this. There's a time to be political. Look, I don't expect our political leaders, to never be political. That would be silly. I think that there's times to be political, to talk about it. And look, the investigation will come, it will do its job, and we will find out who is to blame in what measures. It could simply be operator error. That's all it could be. It could be mechanical failure of some kind. We don't know yet. It could be understaffing. It could be a whole host of, maybe someone was on drugs that shouldn't have been on drugs, right? Maybe they failed maybe the night vision goggles that the Black Hawk people were wearing failed them. Maybe it's a systemic failure. Maybe the flight plans and flight patterns used at that airport were increased risk to an unacceptable level, and this was just bound to happen. We don't know yet, gang. That's the important bit. We don't know yet, and that's a problem. Old Scotty says, you don't think Trump is going to make sure that the reports show it to be a DEI problem? That's like the worst case scenario, right? That he meddles with the reports. I don't know if he's going to. I have no idea. I hope to God he doesn't. That would be disgusting for a lot of reasons, right? But I don't know. Night of Day says, for some reason, air traffic control mistakes used to be extremely rare. They're still extremely rare. This is the first real accident we've had in quite a while. I'd have to look up exactly when the last mass casualty event on from aviation occurred. I can't think of it, at least not in America. 2009, Zero Fucks is saying? Yeah, it's been a while. But look, everyone is using this as a weapon. And let me read some more tweets for you, because I think it's important to kind of look and see people's mindsets. So this is a tweet I made last night. Okay. Both of these are unacceptable right now. Stop weaponizing tragedy to take political shots. I don't care if the other side does it. Let the bodies fucking cool. My God. Okay, so this is the first tweet I saw. And these aren't, okay, so these aren't bots. Let me be clear. This person has been on my show. Okay? She's been on my show. She's real. Okay? Unless AI is super good these days, this ain't a bot. Okay? Airline standards have suffered under DEI for the past 4 years. This is the logical conclusion. No, it's not. We don't know if this has anything to do with DEI. We have no idea yet. But again, minutes after the tragedy, that's what they were saying. On the flip side, someone else who hasn't been on my show, but I have direct messages with her when she was wanting to be on my show, and we were hashing it out. It didn't work out for a variety of reasons, but she was wanting to be on the Hunter Biden pardon panel, if you guys remember that, back in the day, right? So she's not a bot. Again, minutes after the tragedy, the midair plane crash in D.C. was Trump's fault. Now at least 64 people are dead. It's been less than 10 days, and he's already caused the worst airline disaster since 9/11. He must go. We don't know or have any idea whose fault it was. We have no idea. We don't know. No one does. We don't know if it was a staffing issue. We don't know if it was a policy issue. We don't know. We got to stop this. And especially minutes after something like this, when everyone knows you don't know. This just makes you look unhinged. It makes you look crazy. We don't have to. And the most frustrating part of all this is now it's become a political football, right? So people are waiting for more information to come out, not to see the truth of the matter, but so that they can twist that information in order to support the takes that they have made already. Do you guys get how this kind of feeds into itself? That this all feeds into itself. It's this machine of shit, okay? That incentivizes this. Like, they're not doing this for no reason, okay? They're doing this because they know that the sooner they can get out with a take, right, and capture the narrative, the sooner they can twist it to suit their political ends, okay? It's a game. It's a battle. It's a fight, okay? And that's what they see this as. This isn't a battle for finding out the truth. This is a battle for narrativizing reality. It's a choose your own adventure, but it's become a game of whoever can set the narrative first wins, but we all lose. We all lose in this situation because I do care who's at fault, but I want to know who's actually at fault. What systems failed? What was the actual cause of the failure here? Because that is the only way we will help mitigate the risk that this ever happens again. Ugh. Too many people are just... Have we lost our minds? Are we... I feel like I'm going insane, gang. I feel like I'm the one who's like, I missed a memo, right? Maybe it feels like everyone was on their cell phones one night and a virus got beamed from their cell phones into their brains. And I just didn't happen to have my cell phone that night. And so everyone's become pod people. And I'm looking around like, what is going on? What are you doing? You're all become like these fucking robots. Utterly predictable and utterly disgusting. Ugh. NPCs. It feels like it. And there's been, hold on, I minimized the tweet so I can make sure I didn't. Let's read some of the replies to this because I think it showcases the mindset a lot of people have here. Some were fine. Like, this person is like, do you think it's worse that the president is doing this? Well, yes, I do. When I made this tweet, the president hadn't made any statement, though. It was just Twitter people. But yes, I think Trump doing it is worse than a rando on Twitter doing it, 100%. Trump is the leader of the free world. He has far more responsibility. And I do put more blame on him than I would on a rando. Absolutely, 100%. Dilwyn says, these two people pick their side and use effective tactics to convince a wider audience of what they believe in. You may not like it, but it's important. It's 2025. Trump won after screaming about blacks eating cats and dogs, man. More goat. Not talking about it doesn't do anything for the dead bodies, Wick. I think that it's important and pertinent that people mention that right before a disaster occurred, the president had fired a bunch of people who were employed to prevent this exact type of problem. Gonna be honest, it's an info war, and if this had happened 20 minutes before Biden's inauguration, there would have been a 72-hour media cycle blaming him for it. Yes, and that would be bad. Polytope says, you don't get to ask for standards if you've been doing this shit for a decade. Let them fight. You do! Because these are my standards. I expect them to be followed. And if you don't follow these standards, I will have words for you. I will have criticisms. I will call you out. I don't care if the other side doesn't follow the standards. I'm not on the other side. One of the things that severely bothers me about all of this, and I said it earlier, is that a lot of people who should know better, have decided that, oh, fuck it. The other side's doing it. We should do it too. Me, I don't behave like the other side because I think the other side is behaving poorly. No, fuck them. Fuck decency. Wick, the time for being passive pussies is over. This is how Democrats and liberals continue to lose. You can stand by or do something. You need to wake the fuck up and understand that politics has an effect on people's lives. Nobody wants to be part of your kumbaya sadness circle. The families will be fine. Your empathy is being weaponized to obfuscate serious concerns people have right now. Grow up. Bro, you know MLK used children's getting eaten by dogs. This is eat. And Trump's policy actually directly affects these things. So many families broken by deportation. Trans rights went back by 10 years. This guy is crypto scamming. So many criminals pardoned. Fight Tataki? Fight Tataki? I don't know what that means. What does fight Tataki mean? But it's this mindset that more and more and more and more and more people are having. Look at what Pisco has to say, right? If Trump is blaming Biden, it is your moral imperative to blame Trump. There cannot be a double standard here. With all due respect, no. My moral imperative is to tell the truth. My moral imperative is to find the truth and speak the truth, regardless of whether that casts the blame on Trump or Biden. I do not have a moral imperative because the other side is doing a bad thing to also do that bad thing. I reject that completely. That is not logical. That is not effective. And that will lead us where we have gotten already. Right? A lot of people also say to me, like, all you have to do, man, all you have to do is, look, you got to tit for tat him, bro. The reason we're losing is because we don't tit for tat. Brothers, we've been living in your tit for tat world for the last 10 fucking years. We've been, if not longer. We've tit for tatted. We've never gone high when they've gone low. We've always gone low. That aspirational quote that people use of when they go high, when they go low, we go high. We've never done that. Never. Not in the last 15 years or so. That's not been a thing. We've been living in the world that you keep saying you want us to start doing. We've been doing it. And here we are. without the House, without the presidency, without the Senate. Good fucking job. Good fucking job. You did it. Congratulations. And I hate it. I hate it because it's also fucking predictable. It's also fucking exhausting. I am up to here. I've had it up to here with this idea that we have some kind of fucking moral imperative. If they blame us unreasonably, that we just blame them unreasonably. And I see take after take after take with this, not just on Twitter, but in all the social media spaces I inhabit, whether that be with other creators, right, that I talk to, all sorts of places. I am just sick to death of it. I'm just sick to death. I am farming rage. No, this isn't farming rage. This is me actually mad because people are acting in such a way that is destructive, not only to them, but to the causes I believe in. And yes, that makes me angry. That makes me mad. This isn't a performance. I'm not here putting on a show. I'm actually angry. If you believe I'm performative, fair. You can believe that if you'd like, but I promise you, you need to learn to better discern between performative outrage and actual outrage, because that's important. We need to better discern the what people are actually mad about and what people are just trying to match energies or make a quick buck online. Unfortunately, a lot of people have failed that test, failed the discernment test, and the ability to discern between performativity and genuine feeling. And it's frustrating. But you aren't the only one, if that makes you feel better. $5 from the Trib One. So if the truth doesn't get enough eyeballs and swallowed up by misinfo from one side, what should be the tactic? Should we denounce the misinfo? Yes. If something is not true, call it out. Absolutely. Point out the tactics that they're using, right? Let people know how to discern right from wrong. But one of the problems we're having is that's harder to do when we have a sizable portion of our side doing the same thing. It's not whataboutism if the other side is actually doing the same thing, right? Aaron Gray for 1 month. Fair to say people are all just being stupid. I mean, yes, that's true. It's just so frustrating. If the panel is canceled, let us call in. The panel isn't canceled. The panel's just in 30 minutes. Okay, it'll be a little longer than 30 minutes. I want to engage in a way that is effective and honest. And so we live in it's, look, I'll say this. How about this? I'll throw you guys a little bit of a bone, okay? The bone is this, that the systems which we operate in, the structures which are in place, incentivize the type of behavior we are seeing. We are seeing this kind of severe polarization because it makes the people who engage in it famous and rich to various degrees. Note, I didn't say it made the problem better or it was effective politically. I'm saying it's effective personally. It makes you money. It makes you money or makes you famous or sometimes both. Right? And that's why people do it. And the quicker you can come out with a take like this, right? The quicker you can try to narrativize reality, and the better you are at it, the more you will be rewarded for it. So it is, while frustrating, eminently understandable why this behavior is engaged in. I get it. I understand it. The temptation's always there. Oh, 3 super chats on top. Did I miss some? Sorry. $5 from Trib One. Trump set the narrative. The both sidesism bullshit is cringe. If Trump doesn't set the narrative, we wouldn't be culture warring about said narrative. Sure, Trump started it, but we don't have to engage in it, right? Just because Trump did it doesn't mean we have to do it. In fact, if Trump is engaging in it, likely it's not an action I would like to engage in. I would like to behave better than the people who are authoritarian. I would like to behave and have higher standards, hold myself to a higher standard than fascists, right? $5 from Audacity. If lefties want to get in the mud, I am all here for it. I'll take that virtuous morality card away with tremendous satisfaction. And yes, it is a trap, right? We are giving Trump and his ilk exactly what we want when we engage in the same way that they do. Have you guys ever heard of asymmetrical warfare, right? We do not have the ability or tools to engage in the war that Trump wants us to, right? Or to engage in the way that Trump engages. We aren't set up for that, okay? Thankfully, thank God, right? We are generally have a voter base that is appalled by that kind of behavior. So if we try to engage in that kind of behavior, our voter base will not show up. It just won't. $5 from Deej Nuts. I blame the passenger on row 20 who turned their phone off airplane mode before touchdown. That's bro. Okay. Thank you for reminding me. I was angrily yelling and I didn't see that. If I have to be like Trump to win, Fancy Teeth, then Trump won because I'm just Trump. And I reject the premise. I think that kind of thinking is what lost us the election and what is losing us. We're bleeding moderates. We're bleeding centrists. We're bleeding decent people. And we're bleeding them at an alarming rate. And I'm trying to stop the bleeding. I feel doomer. I'm not going to lie. I feel like one of the only people who still has any sort of standards. Every day, people around me are saying we have to do this to win because winning is what matters. Am I accelerating? No, I'm trying to pump the brakes. Do the virtuous always win, Wick? No, but over a long period of time, they're consistently better outcomes for the virtuous than the wicked. Does that mean they'll win every battle? No. But here's the thing. We haven't been virtuous for a long, long time. We need to stop pretending that we were the virtuous ones. We're not. I wish to God we were. I'm trying to help us be so. I'm trying to act in a manner in which we are so. But we're not. And we can't pretend that we're not. Are they worse? Yeah. Are Republicans worse? Yes. That's why I'm not a Republican. But if you continue to race them to the bottom, I'm not a Republican for a reason. And that reason is that they behave poorly. Deej nuts for $5. If we as individuals give into the black pill, then society will never embrace the white pill. Who was not virtuous in 2016? A lot of people weren't virtuous in 2016. We haven't been virtuous in a long time. Look, part of it is when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, I didn't see as much of how the sausage was made, right? I just didn't see it. So some of that is that. And I'm not saying that we don't fight, right? This idea that being virtuous means you don't fight is ludicrous. It's how you fight. That's what matters. Because, and I'll give you my thesis statement here. If we fight against evil in a virtuous manner, we will win. If we try to fight evil in an evil manner, we will lose. Again, there are many voices, many incentives, many pressures for us to choose the low road. The other side's doing it. Why can't we? They won this last time. It must be effective. That must be why they won, right? You have people in the various online communities saying if you don't fight, you're a coward. What did this one guy say? A pussy, right? If you aren't willing to lie, if you aren't willing to cheat, you're a pussy. I reject that. I think that's a coward's way of looking at it. People want politicians, they want a cause that they can support. They don't want something just to oppose. And all we give them is stuff to oppose. I'm trying to give you guys something that we can support. The Trib One says, to be clear, we're comparing politicians to social media figures with followings to varying degrees, right versus left respectively. We need to be louder. Yes, that's true. There needs to be more of us. There needs to be more of us, gang. But I don't know if there are. I'm gonna be real with you. I think I'm a dying breed. I do. I feel like I'm losing the internal battle with the party, okay? I feel like I'm losing the internal... I feel like the odd man out among the influencers. And I'm a very small influencer. Little itty teeny tiny bitty. What, I got 72 viewers on YouTube and 30 on Twitch right now. I don't know how many on Kick, like maybe probably 5. Yeah, that's a drop in the fucking bucket. Like a small drop. We need louder voices than me saying this. We need I don't want to say, we just need louder voices. But the loudest voices in the room, right, are the worst actors in the room. And we're going to talk about that tonight, too, when the panel comes in about 30 minutes. And it's just so exhausting. $10 from Fat Surprise. Don't go extinct, buddy. I'm still fighting. Look, I'm complaining a little bit right now. But don't get me wrong, I'm still in it to win it, okay? This is the part of the story, gang, where, you've been disarmed, you're on the floor, you're looking up, you're panting, you're bleeding from a couple cuts, and the enemy's marching up to you, all haughty, prideful, right? And that's when we take the sword and we swing, right? And we cut off their finger, and the ring goes away, and they lose their power, and we take it, and we have victory, right? This is the part of the story. We got to get through this, though. Would you say now is the time to panic? Panic is never helpful. Nair Socks. It does nothing for your side to call itself out since righties won't. Just adds to the dogpile, but it keeps you honest and more credible than others. I disagree. I think calling it out, if more people on the right call out their bad actors, then the right, I think, is going to attract the type of voter that thinks like me. Frankly. They don't, though. And I don't expect them to. The left needs to start attracting these voters. But they're not either. Again, I'm one of the only people doing it. I'm one of the only people calling out this craziness. Again, and I think Trump's doing some really bad stuff. I think him going after the birthright citizenship, that's super concerning to me. I think some of his executive orders and his moves against Panama Canal and Greenland, they need to be opposed and fought. But I refuse to lie to do so. I won't do that. Just not going to. I don't think I have to either. I could just say the truth. And the truth, frankly, if said long enough and loud enough, is enough. But the problem is it's been the zone is flooded with lies. And so I can't say they're wrong when a righty accuses the left of lying. I can't say they're wrong because they're not. A lot of the left is. They're just fucking lying. Again, numbers matter here. Percentages matter here. If it was only a small portion, I could say it's only a small portion. We can ignore them. But I don't know if it is anymore. And again, as I said at the start of the show, this doesn't mean that the right is better. Look again, I have far more criticism and condemnation for the press conference that Trump gave where he blamed all of this on DEI when we don't know the reason yet. There hasn't been a proper investigation. He's just talking shit, right? That is far worse than any rando on Twitter doing it. And it is concerning. But that doesn't mean I'm going to shut up and not say anything about the smaller stuff. I simply won't. And I feel pressured every day, every goddamn day, from every side to just shut up about this. And to say things I don't believe are true. I do. I'll say it right now. I get pressure to lie. From people in my community. Right? From fellow creators. They don't come right out and say it. Like, you just need to lie. Right? But they absolutely push me to say things I don't believe are true. Wolf of Mandalore says, "Are you on your Prince Zuko arc?" Is that an anime reference? Was that an anime reference? Okay, look. We need a concentration camp for anime enjoyers. I'll say it. Okay. Rizia says, your stream right now is blaming the left, not shitting on Trump. So, okay. Did you not listen to the last 5 minutes? What are you talking about? I just got done saying Trump is far worse. I went on a mini rant about it. I feel like I'm going insane. Look, I gotta get a drink. You stay right there. Don't go anywhere. I'll deal with you in a second. I'll be right back. I gotta get a drink. What happened to Wick? I don't know what happened to Wick. Fuck. I had to go get more soda. Fancy Teeth, you're not correct. You're just not true. I don't know what to tell you. Look, again, even last night, it's fucking proof in the pudding. There's one from the right, one from the left. It's not only blaming lefties. Clearly not. This is why I feel like I can't push back when the right says that lefties lie, because you're fucking lying right now to me about something I just did. What am I supposed to say? Kinetics Boss says Wick's blood is now 40% high fructose corn syrup. That just means I'm sweet, little ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that just means I'm sweet. I don't know what to do. I'm serious, gang. I don't know what to do other than just do my best to point this out when it happens. Rabid Wombat says, do you think if the righties would finally do the right thing about gun control, the strategy could have been inverted? Oh. Old Scotty says, why one from the right and one from the left? Because that's what I saw. Did you not loot through the last 8 years? This is not even some game. Do you think I'm playing a game here? Do you think that this is chess? I'm simply observing reality. Talking about my experience with said reality. And reporting back. Talk about how it makes me feel. I said at the beginning too, Rizius, you just weren't here for that. I opened up my whole stream after everyone got in here, and I was like, okay, we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. We got a panel coming up, blah, blah, blah. I started off with saying how disgusting, disappointed I was with Trump and how he has handled this. And I went on a spiel about it. And then I brought up a tweet saying this is how we should deal with it. And we talked about that for a little bit. And then I talked about how my tweet went and how a lot of people on quote unquote my side are responding poorly to this. And well, now we're here. I talked about Trump a little bit again, and now we're here. This is how we've gotten here. This is the path we've taken. Welcome to the present. Wolf of Mandalore says, idiots are purposely misrepresenting your points, Wick. Careful not to step in the bullshit. That is one flaw I have. I should just ignore some things. I should. I'm easily taunted. That is a flaw. I'll give you guys that. That is a flaw. I'm easily taunted. Old Scotty says, I think you're trying to do what both sides does it when Trump is the most evil son of a bitch we've seen in our lifetimes. Republican politicians are too scared to stop him. Yes, as I said again, and I'll say before, Trump is worse. True. Based. That doesn't mean I have to shut up about the bad things on my side. Pisco says, are you talking shit? I'm talking lots of shit. You want to hop on for a few minutes? We only got 20 before my show. Okay. You know where my Discord is. Jump backstage. I'll pull you in. No worries. Frost back asking questions says Wick just wants to seem reasonable normies. Chat needs to listen more, talk less. This isn't like me doing this like Machiavellian, I'm going to pretend to be normal so that normies will listen to me. No, this is just my take. Like, this isn't like a play. Yeah, once Pisco gets in here, we'll pull him in. Chat is the content, yo. It is when I don't have panelists. Daniel Molina says, I think when outrage to both sides doesn't match proportionality in the bad being done, then that's when you get significant pushback. Man, what does that even look like, right? I am more mad when someone I know does a thing, but I think it's worse when the president does a thing. Does that make sense? Right? The president doing a thing is worse, objectively. It's gross. It's disgusting. But I do tend to get a little more personally mad when someone I consider a friend does a thing that's bad. Does that make sense? So, I don't know. They're in my group chat. I won't link the links, but they're in my group chat talking about the panel tonight. I hope they save some of the content for when they get on stream. That's all. That's one of the things that bothers me sometimes, like totally unrelated while we wait for Pisco. Like I'll set up a group chat so I know who I invited, I know who's committed, and anyone who needs help can or clarification on the topic can ask me and we can get clarification, and any announcements I can give in all in one place, and I don't have to DM like 20 people or 10 people or whatever. But sometimes the downside of it is sometimes they decide to argue in the group chat, and that should be done on stream so I can make money off of it. So again, we don't know precisely yet what happened. The investigation will happen, and there should be an investigation, and we should find out precisely what went wrong so we can fix the problem. But right now, we don't know. We can guess, but we don't know. Fancy Teeth, do you like fantasy books? Have you read The Wheel of Time? Yes, I have read The Wheel of Time. It was one of my favorites growing up. It was a good book. That's a fantasy story. You understand that, right? People keep using like video game quotes at me. Like one guy quoted Mass Effect 3, and I'm like, okay, nice. That's a fantasy story. It's not real life. Pisco, hurry up. Look. Pisco's slow. Okay, though. Boom, boom. Answering some DMs, blah, blah, blah. $5 from the Trib One. I would be with you, Wick, if Dem politicians were doing anything like Trump. I think our politicians should try doing what Pisco said. Not lie, but attack. They are. And I agree. I think that Democrat politicians should aggressively go after things that they think are wrong. But what they shouldn't do, and what people shouldn't do, including influencers, they shouldn't lie. Is that hard, right? I don't know. I think this is an easy call. Don't lie. Really easy. Simple. Did he go in the wrong room? No, he's still not here. Did he just want to make me wait for like 10 minutes? I was on a roll. Everyone lies? No one's perfect, true, but I think that we should do less of it. I think we should also denigrate people who lie. I think we should not tolerate lies. Do I think that our side's going to be perfect at it? No. I'm not. I don't expect perfection. I expect better than what I'm getting. How are defining bad actors for the debate? We'll get to that in the debate, and it'll be in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Clearly crystal clear says Pisco has become insufferable and boring. I disagree. I like Pisco. I don't think he's boring. He annoys me sometimes, but I don't think he's boring. And I think everyone annoys me sometimes, okay? What does better look like? So better looks like what I said at the beginning, and I'll just show you since we have some time. This is what better looks like. It's real easy. This is, again, pitch perfect tweet. With regard to the cause of the airplane helicopter collision, and this goes from everyone, from POTUS to his critics to you and me, the right posture is, we don't know the cause. We'll probe it without preconceptions or regard for the ideological valence of the outcome. That's the tweet. That's it. That's the take. What does better look like? That's what better looks like. You don't have to use those exact words. Like if you don't want to use balance, use something else, right? But that's the stance. The Trib one says that's not attacking Trump enough. That looks like defeat. There are so many things that Trump is doing, that Trump is saying he's doing, that we can attack him on and should attack him on. This disaster, we don't know whose fault it was. That's it. Okay, Pisco's here. Okay, hello.
Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Man, I'm frustrated. I'm not gonna lie. Okay.
Tell me why you're frustrated.
The airplane crash thing. So
Yeah, it's frustrating.
last night, tragedy, right? Over 60 people dead, things like that. I didn't know exactly what happened. I'd just seen some of the screenshots and things, some of the video. It was minutes after it was reported. And
I was live when it happened. Yeah, it was
the first thing I
horrific
saw.
Footage.
The first thing I saw was someone who's been on my show, unfortunately, start calling it, "Oh, this was absolutely DEI." And then I see Trump.
Trump's been on your show?
Yeah, she's been on my show. She was on my show.
Trump has?
No, not Trump. No, Trump. Trump did it later in his press conference, right? But I saw the rank and file Republicans doing it, right?
Yeah.
Just, oh, this is DEI. This is absolutely DEI. This is the logical conclusion of DEI. And I was like, you don't know this. You don't know that. That's disgusting to just come out and say that. And I was going on a rant. I was making tweets. And then, unfortunately, I saw another tweet, right? Mm-hmm. Another take from someone who I have DMs with, who was going to be on my show at some point, and they might still be in the future, right? Saying this was absolutely Trump's fault. And my same criticism I had for the DEI person who was just talking shit, not knowing anything. We don't know what happened yet. I also have for the person who was saying this is Trump's fault. Again, minutes after this was reported. That's a problem for me.
Who said that?
Stacy.
You don't want a name?
I got their name. I made a tweet about it. Hold on. Stacy K. This person. I don't. Oh, you can't see my screen, but they got a lot of likes on it. A lot of attention for it. And I've seen similar takes by similar people. And you made a take that I saw today that I had a problem with. Let me see it. It says, and I'll quote it here. If Trump is blaming Biden, it is your moral imperative to blame Trump. There cannot be a double standard here. Maybe this was just poorly worded, so I'm going to ask for some clarification here. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is Democrats need to call out the irresponsible attack by Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans against federal agencies as part of Project 2025, which even if it is completely possible that none of those policies had anything to do with the particular crash that occurred yesterday, but they undoubtedly make things riskier and more dangerous. And so Trump should absolutely be blamed for making the situation riskier, as opposed to, and I've said very clearly in all my tweets, I'm calling for an immediate investigation. And if Trump is going to be so brazen as to blame Obama and Biden for what occurred over the course of yesterday's events, then absolutely, Democrats should be on offense, attacking hard on the notion that Trump's Project 2025 agenda is imperiling the country.
So
do you disagree with that?
This is the tricky I think you're doing here, and I'll walk you through it. So give me a moment, right? I agree with the.
I have 7 minutes, by the way.
Sure, me too, because I have a panel in like 7 minutes.
Okay.
So basically, I agree with you that the Trump's handling of the FAA is poor, but what I see you and others, to be fair, it's not all you, right? There are others doing it. In the context of the conversation we're having right now, is when you're saying this, the audience obviously interprets this as, oh, this crash was caused by Trump, right? And I don't think we have enough information to say that. It's possible it was, and as the information comes out and we get more data, then we can say that. But there's so much that Trump, let me finish. There's so much that Trump is doing that we should and could attack him on that he's just saying he's doing, right? He's just saying it. He's just doing it. He's making executive orders on it. We have a saturated environment of targets to go after. I think it's an own goal. It's a self-own. We're shooting ourselves in the foot when we start going after him for things that we aren't quite sure he's actually done.
Do you agree or do you not agree that Trump has made this country worse and it's made things more risky and imperiled Americans more with his policies with respect to the agencies? Do you think that he's
I think
made
gutting
things more risky,
agencies
yes
such as the
or no?
FAA does make it more risky for Americans, yes.
Okay, so why not attack him for that?
Because
and say you're making all of our lives incredibly risky by gutting, by stopping hiring, by offering buyouts to everyone in the federal government, by instituting these 2-page memorandums without any guidance whatsoever to create chaos in the agencies. How are we not supposed to call that fucking shit out?
we
How is
can,
that, like,
but
the
you're
thing
doing
we
it in
should
such a
most call out
way.
and say,
You're doing it such a
I'm
way
going to blame you, Trump, for the chaos in our fucking country.
Because we don't know if this particular incident was caused by any of that. We don't know. It could be a mechanical failure.
But I'm not saying that this particular incident was caused by him. I'm, in fact, been very clear in all my tweets. I said, we need an investigation. We need an investigation. We need an investigation. That said, we can draw at least a line. I hope you would agree with this, that Trump, by firing the FAA administrator, by getting rid of the safety committee, and by all of the aforementioned policies, the freeze, as well as the buyout, as well as the chaos caused by his memorandum, has made our airports more risky. You don't agree with that?
I agree with that, but again,
Okay,
I think
so
you're
we're in
doing something
agreement.
tricky. You're not just doing
What's
that.
tricky?
And I think you're smart enough to know that that's not just what you're doing, especially in the
No, I've been
context
very
of the
consistent.
environment we live in and the incidents that has just occurred. What it looks like you are doing and what the normie average person who reads what you are saying is interpreting from this is you are blaming Trump for the individual tragedy that has happened. And I think that
No, I've been very clear
especially
about
since
that,
we don't know, we should just go after him for other things.
Wick, I've been very clear about that in all my posts. You look at all of them.
It doesn't
says
look
we
clear,
need an immediate
man.
investigation.
No,
We need
you say we need an
We
investigation.
need an investigation.
But that's not
Yes, we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to find out if Trump corruption is the cause of this. Does that sound like someone who's made up his mind?
It is
You can
in the
answer that, yes or
context
no.
of
Does
all
that
the other
sound like
things you're
someone who's
saying.
made up his mind?
It is in the
You can
context
answer
of
that
you
yes or
also
no.
saying the Trump was warned. Trump had pushed out. I'm reading this is quote. I'm quoting you right now. Trump was warned. Trump had pushed out the leadership of the FAA and only now is appointing. Hiring freeze, termination of FAA employees, chaos policies.
You don't disagree with
horrible.
any of this, right? You don't-
Yes,
is
but
it-
in the
is it
context of
correct
what you're
you
saying,
don't disagree
that
with this? So you
I-
don't disagree with that? What you just read, you don't disagree?
don't disagree, but in the context of you
Okay,
adding
good.
thing, we need an investigation to what happened now, plus saying that we can make some inferences. People obviously are making some inferences. I think you're implying some things that I think
Isn't
is
saying that
irresponsible
we
to
need
imply.
an investigation into what's going on here, isn't that me explicitly saying that we need to determine what's the cause? If I already knew the cause, why would I be calling for an investigation?
Because you
Does
are
that make the most fucking sense in the world? Am I making too much sense right now to you?
no. You would suspect, and I think you have good reason to suspect that that's the case. So if I suspect someone has done something wrong, even though if I don't know it's done something wrong, we know that an investigation into this is just the right call. But as we add information to the call to the investigation is when it gets dicey. Again, I think the perfect response to this is something is this. We don't know the cause. We'll probe it without preconceptions or regard for the ideological valence of the outcome. Anything else reduces the trust in the investigation.
Stop. No. So you don't want me to call out the irresponsible behavior of the Trump administration vis-a-vis federal agencies, including specifically the FAA. It's off limits for me to say it's irresponsible to just fire FAA because Elon Musk told you to do so, the administrator, that it's irresponsible for you to just axe this committee for no fucking reason, to put in a hiring freeze, to put in the the buyout email, all blast email to everyone in the fucking government, you saying that I should not be calling that out and saying that you're making everyone's life riskier.
Of course
I
not.
shouldn't be doing that.
I
Is
think
that
you
fair?
should simply make it clear that you don't know whether or not Trump was responsible for this individual incident, and you haven't made that as much.
Isn't
as
the
clear as
fact
you
that I'm
could
saying
have.
we need to get to the bottom of this? We need a full investigation.
Do you think you have made it as
Isn't
clear
that
as you
clear?
possibly could have? That you don't know whether
there are
Trump
literally
is
tweets of me
responsible
saying there are literally tweets of me saying we don't know for sure, and why are you prejudging? I mean, there's a tons of tweets of me saying, you know, it's premature to say this or that. So I think anyone who looks at my Twitter feed will understand where my position is. My position is that we need to play offense because what they've done is unforgivable. What they've done at the agencies is unforgivable. It is a complete dereliction of duty. And this president, this illegitimate president, does not have the confidence of the American people anymore. Not with respect to safety, not with respect to what he's doing in terms of centralizing authority. It is complete fascist bullshit. I'm not going to stand for it. I'm not going to play defense into this little weak shit that you're doing and saying, oh, put our hands up. We can't do anything other than
I'd
just
rather
play
be
defense all the time.
effective than look strong, frankly. I'd rather win than
really.
virtue
So you think
signal,
effective is being like, hey, we got some bad Twitter.
I know it gives you
followers.
lots
I'm gonna
of
make a false
tweets, and I know
equivalence
you
between
get a
them.
lot of updates on your
Yeah.
socials, and it's probably very lucrative for you personally, but I don't think it's effective politically.
It's very lucrative
frankly.
for me
But
personally.
I'll let you
What
give
did
the
say?
last
It's
word. I'll let you have the last word
Did you
because
say,
we have.
Wait. No, we're gonna interrogate that real quick. Did you just say it's very lucrative for me personally? Can you explain what you meant by that?
Sure, you get a lot of attention, right? You get a lot of influence.
Sorry, what does lucrative mean?
Perhaps the wrong word. Okay. It's very valuable.
Okay, so you take that back,
you.
right? So, because what you're implying is I have a financial interest, a financial motive in doing what I'm doing. That's what you're saying,
Sure.
right? That
Again,
there's
I'll just take that back
motive
because that
in what
was
I'm doing.
probably the
Yeah.
wrong word.
Thanks for taking that back. Thank
You're
you for taking that
easy.
back.
Like, but it is valuable for you, and the value comes from, as I said, you get influence. You gain.
No, it's
following.
valuable for the fucking country, Wick, to have people who have balls and who are calling out this criminal, corrupt administration on their own terms and for what they're actually doing. And I'm so sick and tired of weak fucking Democrats and weak leftists who are not going to speak truth to power and are going to hold back when there's obvious corrupt shit going on.
I want to speak
all the
truth.
policies we're talking about
I don't want to
straight
perform.
But you just agreed. You just agreed with everything I said. There wasn't a substantive point of disagreement that you had with me. There wasn't. You said you agreed with my points. You just thought that some people might get the wrong impression.
Because
But
I think
in
that
terms
you were.
of the substance, you just
I think the
agreed with
way you
everything.
were tweeting this out gives the wrong impression. I think you're smart enough to know what you're doing. That's all.
Come on. Okay.
Well, thanks for
Thanks,
calling
Wick.
in, buddy. And I'll see you next week
Yeah,
when
bro.
we talk about whether or not Trump has given us a constitutional crisis. And
All right. That's
frankly, he has.
Later, bud.
But see ya. Bye.
Yeah, he has.
Okay. God damn. Seriously, Wick? Seriously, I do. But it's not for the reasons that you might think. We'll get into it. Give me a second. Start pulling people in. Hello, you're live. Give me a second. Trying to get everyone on. Add roles. Got one more coming. What am I looking at here, Easy Tiger? What are you showing me?
Am I that ugly? What the fuck?
No, Rone, you're fine. I'm talking about Easy Tiger Williams. I don't know what's on your screen right now.
Is vaping on stream okay? Like, or should I put this away?
You're fine, buddy.
Okay.
Ah, sorry. I just had to talk with Pisco and made me want
Gotta
to
kick
fight
you out.
more. I don't know if you guys saw that, but
Oh.
Can you say something so we can make sure
Hi.
we can hear you? Hi, Lactoid.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you. Lactoid,
Beautiful.
How am I coming through?
you're coming through great. Rone, we could
Great.
hear you. How about you, Easy Tiger? Can you say something for us?
Hello.
Yes, you're a little low, but we can fix that. I'm trying to get our last guest on here, Echte Sine. He's having trouble getting it. I'm trying to walk it through. Oh, man. Okay, here we go. Oh, I just saw him. Okay, hello.
Ahoy.
Ahoy.
Hello?
Okay. One moment. I have to switch gears, but we'll get there.
Oh, I'm not.
How's everyone doing, by the way? Everyone having a good day, good time? Everyone
Have a good day.
feeling good?
Life's great.
Oh.
Good.
Yeah,
Lactoid, you
can't
look
complain.
miserable. I'm
Yeah,
not
thanks.
arguing. I'm sorry. That was mean. Are you doing cool or?
No, I'm fine. I'm just
Okay.
tired.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we can energize you today, Lactoid. We'll see. Okay.
Depends. But you guys, if somebody says stupid shit, I might get energized. We'll see.
I'll
Don't
be sure to
I-
say
I
some
don't-
stupid
okay.
shit for you.
Okay.
I definitely don't plan on defending Destiny's actions. So
Well, we'll get into
Yeah,
it.
we're gonna be
And I might be
doing-
tired. I might be tired the whole time. Then, Ron, come on.
maybe.
No,
Sacrifice
I
your
got
reputation.
Don't get me wrong. I have a twist for you, buddy. I'll
Don't
spice it
sacrifice
up.
your reputation just for that. Come on.
A moment.
No,
please.
I'll
let me
spice it
let
up
me
for you.
introduce the show, and then we can get into it. And then we can have our discussion here. So thank you, everyone, for coming to the show. Welcome to yet another episode of WIC TV, Cross Ideological Space. We come together to talk about issues both political and cultural, from the silly to the serious. Today we have to talk about bad actors in political spaces. We all know recently Destiny was sued, and charges were pressed by various victims who alleged that he did something horrible. He shared their nudes and other sexual content without their consent. He recorded them without their knowledge or consent. And few victims have come forward at this point to allege this. This has caused a large split in the community. And there have been statements such as the one I'm going to read out to you. This is from Cosmic. Cosmic says this, and he's not the only one to say it. I've heard many different takes, various saying this. No, I don't care about what he did, and you shouldn't give a fuck either. We lost the election because we cannibalized ourselves. The right doesn't hold their operatives accountable for anything, while we further divide ourselves over every topic. No one is perfect. Let people grow. So the topic for tonight's discussion is whether or not we should, and at what points we should ignore the bad actions, the immoral, reprehensible actions of people on our side in order to gain a political victory or edge. Should we be even concentrating on bad actors within our circles when someone as vicious, as a threat as Trump, right? When we have such fascists at the door, some might say, should we even care about what influences are on our side do? And that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to give it to Lactoid first. Lactoid, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, can you? I sound good. Everything
You are.
audible? Okay. I'm Lactoid. You can find me at Lactoid TV. I got a couple points here. I mean, there's so many different ways we can talk about this subject. This is, I think, the first time I'm really openly talking about it on stream. I've made some references, but I mean, the 4 points here is I think what Destiny did was bad. I think hopefully nobody here is going to argue to the alternative. I mean, what he did was bad enough that even he is banning people who try to defend the actions in his chat, because the optics of that are just horrific. Like, it's bad. How bad in terms of what kind of punishment is prudent, I guess, is going to be a subjective analysis. But the allegations, if true, appear to demonstrate a consistent, repetitive pattern of abuse going over the course of years for somebody in his mid-30s. This isn't like some 14-year-old who made a mistake. This is someone in his mid-30s who has demonstrated a pattern of abuse going back all the way back to the StarCraft days. Which, to me, just if the allegations are true, would seem to paint somebody who is very unlikely to reform. And somebody who's unlikely to reform, I mean, that's a big negative, I think, mark on that person. However, do I think anything seriously bad is going to happen to him just practically? Probably not. He's probably going to be fine. He's probably going to get away with it. I'm not holding out for any kind of massive sense of justice like some people are. But I think that the conversation here about this topic is really about his orbiters and his fans and how they've been reacting to this news. I actually have more criticism of his fans rather than his orbiters. I'm more sympathetic to people who are like financially tied to the guy, who feel like, shit, I got to be really sure before I make some, big potential blunder. I understand that position. That and largely, I think a lot of the orbiters have recognized that and still went with it what they believe to be moral, right? I mean, we have Pisco that was just on. He put out a video separating. Apparently, Destiny said Bridges was over on his comeback stream. I mean, you're seeing a trend of the people who are close to him saying, "Hey, this is too fucked up, Wick." I know when this first came out, you said on stream, "This is kind of fucked up," right? And so, the people who are very close, I think that I've been actually somewhat pleasantly surprised by how willing people are to say this is pretty fucked up. I was expecting there to be more sweeping from those people, but largely I've actually been relatively impressed. However, the people who I think I have no sympathy for, and I think are to this day pretty pathetic, are like these sycophants, like the person who wrote the tweet that you're referencing, Wick. The people who they have no other interest here, and their brain has been poisoned by this whataboutism tactic that Destiny's been implementing into his audience to the point where they will defend just legitimately abusive behavior. And I think that's, and for no other gain, just to worship the cult that he's created. I think that's pretty shitty.
We're going to talk about it. Thank you for being here. Gang, let's try to keep our openings under a minute. I know we got a lot to say. I know this is a big topic. I know there's a lot of ways to take it, but brevity is the soul of wit. Easy Tiger, what are your thoughts here?
I think Democrats look at Republicans who won the election despite all the bad stuff Trump has done and other Republicans like Matt Gaetz has done, and they think, well, why should our side not excuse this behavior? They won, we should copy them, copy their strategy, and we should also win. But this is flawed because Republicans have an advantage. They are running on populism. They have popular support, and Democrats should limit their behavior.
Hello?
Sorry.
It's okay. Take your time. We'll get to it.
Not my native language.
I understand. Okay, we'll get to you in a second. We'll get to you in a second. Rone, what are your thoughts here?
I have an opening statement that I wrote down. That's okay.
Go ahead.
All right. The difference in philosophies between Democrats and Republicans is that Dems believe in principle above power, which will always lose to the Republican philosophy of power above principle. Given this is true, the principles of the left amount to fashion accessories. I'm paraphrasing, but MLK said in response to the ethic of a will to power that principle by itself is sentimental and anemic, while power is reckless and abusive. Justice is when power gives in to the demands of principle. Those interested in enacting justice must abandon this narcissistic notion of when they go low, we go high. This does not mean that when they go low, we go lower. But on behalf of justice, we must be willing to at least go medium, balancing our need for power for our commitment to our ideals. Otherwise, what is the point?
Yeah, well, thank you for being here. We'll get into it as we go. Counterpoints. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, so I think that unfortunately, the more that I talk to people, the more that I'm realizing that a healthy chunk of Twitch and YouTube politics is one, illiterate, and two, don't understand politics. Politics is who wields power. Okay. Now, there isn't some like carte blanche where you must hold every single person accountable. Okay. So for instance, let's say that we were in World War II and we had somebody who had like a sex scandal, right? As a matter of fact, never mind. I have an even better example. Winston Churchill. Okay. He's fighting the Nazis, but he fucks up the Bengal famine. Okay. And he actually kills tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Indians, right? So are we going to stop mid-war in order to surrender to Nazi Germany, in order to criticize him over the mismanagement of the Bengal famine? Or are you going to win the war first against Nazi Germany and then criticize him for the Bengal famine? And so there's this total like lack of tactical thinking when it comes to power, where I just think that the left is especially prone to cannibalism. I've seen it happen on the right sometimes, but I also think that it's going to be funny. Like, so I would say Lactoid framed this entire conversation within the recent drama within Destiny, and I'm perfectly fine talking about that. And also talking about like the limits of criticism. However, like the actual conversation is, when is it okay to sweep? When is it okay to not sweep? And what's the difference between power and principle? And so just to finish off the example, just to make myself clear, if there was like an existential crisis in the United States that some people would argue we are in right now, are you going to care about somebody's nudes getting leaked if that's the difference between wielding power? I'm not saying that's the case, but you need to weigh evils when you're talking about power and politics. I'll leave it there for now.
Okay. Thank you for being here. I'm sure we will get into it as we go. Last but certainly not least, how do you say your name? Echte?
Just Sinte is okay.
Sinte? Okay.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Hi. First stream ever. Kind of interesting. Like everybody seems so hardcore. I almost feel outmatched.
You're fine. Give us your take on the subject.
Okay. So I'm more hard on Destiny than I think all of you people. I think I suspect him to be like a proper sociopath, but honestly, that's a vibes-based diagnosis. But anyways. But today I think I'm going to argue for also the kind of level of cynicism that I heard Counterpoints and Rone express here. I thought I had an original take, but apparently I'm not as original as I thought I would be.
That's okay. We have different people for different reasons, and thank you for being here. And yeah, I guess we'll just get into it. Like, I guess I'll start with you, Lactoid, right? I understand what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. But what is the difference between sycophants of Destiny and sycophants of Trump covering up Trump's bad actions? Why is it okay for sycophants of Trump to still support him when he's done all the things that he's been accused of doing, but you have no sympathy for those in Destiny's orbit who do the same?
No. So if you're dealing with somebody, and I think this is the big distinction between this situation and for Trump. I think that there's two types of like MAGA people, or maybe not even MAGA people, but supporters of Donald Trump and their position, I guess, towards Trump's alleged sexual abuse. There's people who think it's true, but are just like, fuck, like, that Biden does it too, like XYZ does it too. I have to vote for the person because I'm a policy bug, right? I'm like really interested in policy, and this is like a really important thing to me. And then you have another group of people that just don't believe it to be true, and they really love Trump. Like they just obsessed about him, and they have this kind of parasocial connection, perhaps very similar to some that people might have to streamers. But in this situation, I mean, this person is not a politician. This person isn't pushing any particular policy. This person is running a parasocial relationship platform. That's the point, right? The point is to build a parasocial relationship with his audience. And so the question is it okay to build a parasocial relationship with somebody if you think that what they did was wrong? Or maybe not just that, but are you allowed to criticize the thing that you think that they did was bad if you have a parasocial relationship with them? And Destiny hasn't even denied the allegations, and you still have people sweeping for him, not for policy reasons, but just because they're obsessed with the guy. That's the difference. Now, I'm not even necessarily defending people who sweep for the bad things that Trump does. I thought that especially Destiny's community was opposed to that. So is the argument here that, well, it's warfare, we have to be hypocritical? Is that the argument?
No.
So,
Yeah, so you go first.
Are we going in
Okay.
order?
I'll let Rone go, then we'll hear counterpoints, and we'll hear from.
No. The argument is that like your degree of like candidate is accused and found like and litigated through like way worse shit than Destiny is. So like for you to hold this double standard is insane. Like
I don't hold a double standard.
It is a double standard.
What am I doing that would demonstrate that I'm holding a double standard?
Did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, look, if Destiny had my policy positions and he did 20 times worse, I might consider voting for him because I'm a massive policy bug. Do you think that I'm going to have like this deep social, like parasocial relationship with Donald Trump if I actually think that he raped Carol? No.
That's effectively the argument right there.
The idea, okay, just to be clear, I think that I'm skeptical of the fact that he actually did commit that crime, and we can go into the details. We can go into the details about that.
I don't want to.
If I believe that he did it, I'm not going to like him parasocially. I'm not going to consider him to be a friend. I'm not going to want to be close to him.
Yeah. I agree with that idea. I don't think that's at least not why I'm watching Destiny. I am watching Destiny, even though I think he's actually like legitimately evil underneath. I was thinking that for about 2 years now, and I'm still watching him. It's not because I want to be morally uplifted by the guy, or I think he's he's going to be.
You support his political project.
I think there's different sorts of moral high grounds. There's some sort of personal moral high ground where you where you don't hit your kids, and where you are a pillar of the community and whatnot. And then there's I think a political moral high ground that also exists. I think there's that's separate things, and I think you should distinguish them.
Some principles are more valuable than others, right? Some principles are
a hierarchy of principles. Yeah, I think so.
No, yeah, I don't know. I think this is. Look. I'll let you guys talk. I think this is a little bit pathetic, and I think that what's happening.
Hold on, Lactoid. Hold on. You can say whatever you want to point out, but at the same time, this is the same pragmatic logic that you almost exactly articulated. I don't think anybody here, including myself, basically said oh yeah, we're gonna be hey, leaking people's nudes is awesome, and audio recording your sex acts and then leaking them without consent is great. Nobody's gonna say that shit, and they're actually
even deny the allegations.
Yeah, and probably.
Do you think the motivation here from a lot of the followers is a genuine belief that at this point Destiny's a good horse to back politically, or is it a parasocial relationship that they've developed with the guy over the course of
I think it's I would like to answer. I think it's literally an 80-20 split. I think that 80% of them are going to make pragmatic arguments oh, I just like his rhetoric, or I just think he's entertaining, or I like his debates, or I like the way he thinks about things, but I hate all his personal shit. That's going to be 80% of people. And then I think 20% of people are, like you said, where they're literally parasocially in love with the guy. And so no matter what he does, they'll be oh yeah, actually turns out everything he did was awesome.
Kind of Trump.
I'm more with Lactose TV right here. I think it's the opposite around. I would say it's more 30% of people would make the same noises that I would make, and I think 70% of people are just attached.
I would. I think that it's absolutely flipped.
It's my intuition.
Most of this is motivated by a parasocial relationship, as is the case often with large streamers. I don't think a lot of the audience is truly
to the point that they will make apologia for sex offenses.
Of course, that's my criticism. Yes.
Yep.
So then I would take this psychological dynamic and I would apply it almost to any public figure who does bad things. And I also think that it is particularly striking that we have this every single day on social media with Trump. Trump said the most retarded fucking thing I have ever seen a public elected official say out loud today. And I have people in my replies who are actually, this is secretly based. And it's a fuckload of people. Now, maybe you don't like my ratios. Let's call it 50-50. 50% of people are willing to separate the political and the personal, and they're willing to call somebody a piece of shit, even if they're going along with the policies. And 50% of them are true sycophant, psychopath fucking weirdos. But if we split it 50-50, this psychological dynamic applies to almost every public figure.
I hold on. I don't necessarily disagree with that. As to the principle, I could disagree on the ratios depending on the person. Look, there's people who sweep for O.J. Simpson, and I lost my temper at them on public streams in a very similar way. Because
I hope that's an 80-20, actually what he did.
Well, at the time, it wasn't quite, the ratios were a little bit different. As time goes on, the ratios are starting to get a little bit better on that particular case. But Yeah, if you've run across anybody who's like making motivated apologies because they have a parasocial relationship with a celebrity and they're worshiping this celebrity parasocially, and they're obsessed with this person, like a ultra MAGA guy who's like cannot criticize Trump for anything that they do. I think it's perfectly fine to criticize them. I think it's perfectly fine to call them a hack, which, by the way, you guys have been doing to a lot of MAGA supporters who are hacks for a very long time now. And again, maybe this mentality, like I asked before, is this just war? You can just be hypocritical now? Is that the idea? Like, oh,
That
these
is
people are doing
the
these
politics
people are
you
doing
run into.
terrible. These people over here are doing terrible behavior. So I guess we get to do terrible behavior now too. Fuck you. Is that the thought process?
What is the hypocrisy? Because I actually think we can go back to the election and point out where it's not necessarily hypocritical. What is the hypocritical action that you are accusing people of?
The hypocritical action that I'm accusing people of is I think there's a large demographic, especially Destiny supporters, who are looking at Trump and saying they're like, how could anybody support this guy? Because look how horrible he is personally. I think you have said similar things in the past, Connor. He's a horrible person. He's terrible. The idea that anybody could support somebody who's done these awful things is just mind-blowing. People who do these terrible things, there's no excuse for that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then their guy does a terrible thing. Wow, you know.
What their guy? Like where we just
Destiny, yes. Specifically, he does a terrible thing. Yes. Did he not?
Right. So,
we all agree he did a terrible thing.
Let me jump in here. Let me jump in here and ask Connor Points and Rone and the rest of you, right? Here's the deal, right? Like, why are we so critical of Trump? But what is the specific difference between you, Rone, defending Destiny, and a Trump supporter defending Trump?
I'm not.
Or not defending Destiny or his actions, but saying, I think it's fine to just kind of overlook this for now.
Because Republicans have established the legitimacy of that strategy. You see the open hypocrisy that they did when they stole a Supreme Court justice. And hey, they were right to do so. They were actually like serving their constituents by like stealing a Supreme Court justice. They were doing the right thing because at the end of the day,
they weren't. You're wrong on every level of this.
They absolutely were. They're not there to be nice. They're not there to be polite. They're there to ensure power for their constituents. And that's at the end of the day, like
I criticized that action by Mitch McConnell when it happened.
That's
because I'm not a hack. Okay, a hack is somebody who has this fucking mentality of like whataboutism whenever they get confronted with anything. What about that guy? What about that guy? And they're never able to sit down and have a conversation about this is pretty fucking bad. And yes, I mean I had a debate with Destiny on this very subject of like the Supreme Court packing. It was on Wix. And I mean, for a quarter of the debate, I was saying what the Republicans did there was bad. I'm not making excuses for it.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's actually a good thing.
No, I'm saying it is bad. I'm saying it is bad because I've got principles here.
Yeah. So
one at a time.
And yet you still voted for Donald Trump. So I like what are you talking about here?
Like, let's give it.
Yeah, shiny or two turds doesn't mean you can't focus on the fact that one's a shiny fucking turd.
Okay, let's give it to Sint a little bit, and then let's go to counterpoints. Sint, what do you got?
Two short things. I'm very glad that I looked you up, Lactoid, before I came here. I was ready to like hate your guts, but actually, when I scrolled down on your Twitter page, I actually thought there's this really cool principled backbone there. So I'm
thank you.
I'm
okay, you can jerk them off later. Just let's get to the point. Yeah. Send him DMs later.
Okay? Don't worry, I'm not going to release a video on that.
There's a giant chasm. There's a giant chasm between letting some things go and total moral bankruptcy. I think it is okay to like give up a little bit of the moral background. Go 2 steps down. It is fine. We're still way up there. That's my point. Thank you.
Okay, counterpoints.
Well, okay. So yeah. So Lactoid, I'm probably more towards your camp. However, I think we just need to acknowledge the dynamic. Okay, you're kind of saying like nobody's acknowledging this, nobody's calling them out, nobody's doing this, nobody's doing that. But if you actually look at maybe not the tone, because I am getting called out for tone all the time because I'm being rude and I'm making jokes and all that kind of shit. But the actual content of what people saying is this is fucked up. It's inexcusable. Not only did he fuck over the people that were closest to him, but also he's damaged his almost effectively all of his political projects. He's hurt all of his peers and his orbiters. And as a result, not only did he fuck up, he hurt a shitload of people. Those are the people who are closest to him saying that. And then the people, as you move outside of the orbiter sphere, they get actually more and more critical. Now, I agree with you that there are sycophants who are saying like, oh, you did nothing wrong, whatever. But I would almost say that I don't want to put proportions on it anyways. Those people fucking suck and they suck ass. However, I think that what you said, though, with your voting for Trump, is that there is a pragmatic calculation here for what you think can happen with a person. And so if you're willing to acknowledge that principle, then just through that example, you kind of already know what the fuck we're talking about, which is basically like leaking nudes. I'm just going to be real here and people can fucking hate me if they want. Leaking nudes, even non-consensual audio recordings in 6 months, that's going to be shortened down to leaking nudes. And he's probably going to be back in Twitch and YouTube poll like it's fucking nothing. Now, he probably lost all his mainstream shit, but that's what it's going to boil down to. People are going to move on.
Connor, I already said I don't think there's going to be like substantive consequences for this in my intro. But are you saying that the audio shit is bunk?
I'm not saying it's bunk. No.
Okay. So if it turns out to be real, like this is like,
I'm still holding my breath to find out if there's worse shit. So
sure, and there could be worse shit. We're finding out shit every day. Like more and more shit has come out. Yes, there has been more shit that people are saying on Twitter.
I'm shaking my head because I saw the January 9th text message.
The January 9th one after the leaks. Yeah.
But I'm all right. I'm gonna give him a little bit of shit. But I'm on Vyvanse now. I don't goon anymore, guys. And it's like,
yes, we literally have this shit happening.
I kind of knew that was bullshit.
Yeah, assuming this is accurate, leaks, which apparently it is.
The leaks. Okay. Yeah,
I do have.
Wick, I sent it like January 9th after the leaks.
I got you.
How could you expect he's gonna change?
I don't.
We'll get to it. Easy Tiger. I'm sorry, buddy.
Yes.
It's hard to hear you. Your mic's not working. We
Next
might
time
have to replace you, buddy. Okay.
All right, sure.
I'm sorry. I really apologize. We'll try it again on a smaller panel. Cool?
Cool.
Okay, and with that,
okay,
we do have a little bit of a replacement, though. So.
Okay, so hold on, real quick. And I think that this is like a legitimate perspective to take because I think you're right. So he was like, oh, 2022 was a crazy year. I was doing it through 2023. What I would expect to see is somebody being contrite and actually like, kind of showing remorse and then making up for it and all that kind of stuff. I don't think he's psychologically capable of it, right? So when I saw him making jokes in those fucking DMs over the past like week or two, I was like, this motherfucker hasn't changed at all, has he? And then the January 9th fucking gooning leaks that just came out today, by the way, it's like, okay, he actually hasn't changed and he hasn't made any efforts to change. So I think at this point, it stands to reason that pretty much everybody has to expect to be effectively playing with a scorpion. Now, there's a chance you're going to get fucking stung. It just is what it is.
Right. And I want to like, so for me, I'm saying that like, if the political stakes are like in the case of the election high enough, somebody who maybe I even though I don't believe all of the allegations against Donald Trump, I think that there is sufficient evidence of him being a dick and him being bad and XYZ. Yeah. And being bad.
I think there's sufficient evidence he used his dick.
And him being, I don't think so. I mean, unless you're talking about Stormy Daniels. Stormy Daniels, sure. But
not easy.
There's no. We can talk about that.
Okay. All right, sure.
I actually don't want to get sidelined on the details, so we can focus on the principle.
Wait. Let me just finish the thought because I don't want to get sidelined either.
Finish this thought, but then I want to recenter us. Okay.
Thank you. So for me, it's like, okay, if we're talking about a presidential election where policy is incredibly important, and we're talking about a comparison between one person's policy agenda and another person's policy agenda. For me, that's like a major weighting factor. I understand that logic, but there's two problems here. The first problem is Destiny's not running for president. He's not a politician. He's not like in charge of policy decisions. You don't choose to engage with him because, hey, I have to, otherwise the other side is going to introduce XYZ policy agenda. That's going to be awful. He's basically a politically toxic at this point, given the allegations. You're not going to gain anything by working with him anyway. And then the other thing is, and I guess this is for you, Connor, a little bit, for somebody who does care so much about who the person is, maybe more so than the policy, because of your criticisms of Trump and how that was a major influence in your decision not to vote for him. Why doesn't your logic here apply? Where even if Destiny is politically effective or whatever, doesn't at that point his shitty behavior for you, since you hate shitty behavior so much, isn't that enough to criticize him? Maybe more strongly.
I mean, we're gonna have to get into what more strongly means, just because I swear to God, it's like I'll say he's a socially, sexually retarded
He's a sex pest.
person
He's a sex pest.
with a gap in his soul from the abuse he suffered as a fucking child, and he's trying to fill his god hole with pussy, and like nobody hears that shit. They're like, oh, you're making excuses for him because you're making it funny. And so it's like, well, okay, maybe it's funny, but also like that's a pretty serious thing. Like if you actually have like real trauma and abuse that forces you to be constantly addicted to sex and relationships, and 20 or 30 years later you're still trying to fill that hole, that's fucking bad, man.
Okay.
It's bad on like 10,000
I
different
want to
levels.
I want to recenter this just a little, right? Because I understand that Destiny is kind of like the focal point here, and his lens a lot of. I mean, he's closest to the space. But you can. I'll let you go next, right? I promise, right? But I want to recenter.
There's also an idea here too. So Twitch and YouTube poll is hundreds of thousands of people, and it's millions of dollars every year. That money could be, I'm not saying it is right now, it could be harnessed for good. So pretending that like this is just like a completely ineffectual space that has no impact in the real world, I don't think that's true. And I think as time goes on, it's actually going to become a more and more effective space for achieving real world stuff.
Well, not if this keeps happening. I think that's kind of my point.
Which it's going to keep happening.
That's my
well,
point.
I think this is the learning curve.
Is it?
I mean, the learning curve
this is the learning curve.
isn't working if we're all accepting that people on Destiny's side are just going to say, well, he's politically useful, so I'm not going to give a fuck about his sexual malfeasance, and he's going to be streaming like normal in 3 months. It will never be a mainstream space if that's the case.
Wait,
Never.
hold on. Do we not think that fucking well, number one, I think mainstream people are probably, there's plenty of examples of sociopaths dominating mainstream politics and then having horrible sex and drug scandals. Yeah, literally Donald Trump. And then number two.
Sure, yeah. How many people have tried to federally indict Destiny, if we're going to compare him and Donald Trump? Donald Trump has the world criminally and civilly, but Destiny, we're saying,
why is that the standard?
If people are just
for a couple. Why is that the standard?
Because you guys are choosing to compare it to Donald Trump.
But you're saying
we're talking,
and he's in a more powerful
position. Hold on. You're saying Donald Trump is a great example.
Hold on. Wait, one second, one at a time. No one can hear when you're all shouting at each other, when you're all arguing. Once he's gone, once you're finished, Jeb10, once you're finished, we'll let Rone respond. Rone wants to get in here too. And then I see you sent. So go ahead, finish.
Again, you guys have such circular logic here. Because this space may end up being a politically effectual space, we should protect Destiny in the case that he's politically effectual enough to overcome the malfeasance that he's done. There's no reason to bring up that this space might be effectual in this context unless you're saying that, by the way. So otherwise, you're either making an irrelevant point or you're making the point I'm saying. So cool, I'll go with either. But
that's
then
ridiculous.
The constant comparisons to Donald Trump, you're saying the equivalent behavior to accepting Destiny, who can be replaced by any number of liberal content creators, who's the barrier for entry. Stop. Hold on. You'll see when I'm making the comparison. The barrier for entry to becoming a streamer is getting a fucking computer and a webcam. You're saying going against him and choosing a different liberal content creator of equal or greater size to support is equal to not voting for the one option you have that is close to your ideals in the presidency, and you will not get to make that choice again for another 4 years. Saying those two choices
this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
And if you make one, you should make the other the same exact way is absurd.
Rone, go ahead. You can respond. Go ahead. Tell
us
why
it's absurd.
It's absurd on its face. But first off,
how?
Well, give him a chance to say, right?
You said it's absurd on its face. Sure. You should be able to not shuffle his folders and read his notes.
Let him go.
I have a direct response.
Let him go. Rone, we're going to give the mic to Rone for now. Rone wants to respond. Give Rone a chance. Rone, and then we can let others try.
I want to go back to something Lactoid was saying. Lactoid, you were saying that the president, because it's like of a higher political position, that means that his like moral failings are more acceptable. That's not true. But the fact that he's in a more powerful position, the head of the fucking country, means that his moral character is of a much, much more serious degree. then
Did you
then
vote
of
for
course
him? Did you not vote for him because of his moral character?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Okay, so moral character is very important to you.
I mean, like when running against Kamala Harris, yes. Like is Destiny running against somebody? Like why? Like
That's my argument. My argument is that fuck, we have a two-party system. I voted Libertarian the past 2 times. Like I don't like this guy, but fuck, right? What Jebtan is saying is, holy shit, like this isn't that. This
Destiny
is a
is-
streamer,
I-
one streamer out of like thousands.
Yeah.
I have a direct
and
response.
he's not a politician. And the whole purpose of it is it's a parasocial relationship. Are we going to deny this?
Yeah.
Are we going to say that like that's not the major thrust of the stream? Of course it is.
Real quick, I just want you to acknowledge real quick that the position of president is more important than some random streamer. Will you acknowledge that?
Hold on. That's not my
Yes,
point. and
that's
I
why
can-
the
I can address
policy
it
is that's why
directly.
the policy is more
Hold on.
important. Yeah.
Okay,
Hold on.
okay, go
I
ahead.
want to address it
Counterpoints.
directly. So here's the thing. I think that temperamentally, the people who are most likely to rise at the top of either mainstream media or alternative media are likely to be some kind of like narcissistic sociopaths. I just think that statistically it's going to be borne out. And I do have anecdotes for you that I think will be demonstrative. So the 3 most popular people who are on left-wing alternative media right now are Hassan Piker, Vosh, and Destiny. I could literally go through it, but Hassan Piker is a rape apologist, allegedly had sex with a 17-year-old. Vosh is a lolicon. Destiny has his dramas that have come up, right? And then if we go on the right-hand side too, this isn't something that's unique to the left. Elijah Schaffer is a sex pest and a fucking Nazi. Literally go check that fucking guy's Twitter. It's nothing but fucking race war posting.
Like
Tim Pool took fucking Russian money. Tommy Robinson, who I think has some good points sometimes, is a fucking alcoholic who likes to get wasted, walk into Muslim no-go zones and fist fight fucking Muslims. That's his idea of a good time. Paul Joseph Watson is a fucking coke addict who fucking bangs prostitutes. Dude, like you're telling me that we can replace these characters with anybody, but it's not true. If we replace Destiny, let's say that we find some fucking liberal character who's just as charismatic, just as talented, just as intelligent, et cetera, et cetera. I almost guarantee you that we're going to be finding some level of fucking skeletons in the closet. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't try. I wish Josiah pondering politics was the new fucking Destiny, right? But he doesn't have the same personality.
Well, they also are just not very smart. But the thing that you just brought up is the perfect example of how morally...
my boy Josiah.
Yeah,
Look, Josiah is not on trial here. Okay, we can.
This is the example. This is the
Josiah's
example
my
of why
buddy,
Lactoid-
so let's
Yeah,
get
this
on.
is the example. I mean, I'm not saying he's like an evil person. I just don't think he's as smart as Destiny. But this is the point of me and Lactoid being perfectly morally consistent here. How many Elijah Schaffer posts do you see me and Lactoid retweet? How many times have you seen us support fucking Tim Pool? Basically none.
Well, but I
ever.
think if
You're
you
supporting
check
someone worse.
Rone in my Twitter, you're not going to
It's
find
not an issue right now.
you're not going to find either one of us being like, lol, sexual harassment good. Like that didn't
He
happen.
literally said it's a... Who's this guy? Rone?
Rone.
Yeah.
Literally said that it should be part of our political strategy to go medium and support Destiny despite this. That was his point when he came into this panel. That was your point. That was exactly your point.
This, you
I
do
also-
recognize it. You do
I-
wait. You do recognize this is the Republican strategy, right? Like this is what they do. Except they
No.
don't go medium; they go low.
Here's the issue. You're not part of the fucking DNC. You're nothing. You
Yeah, I'm a
should
rhino.
use your nothing.
I'm a rhino. Like, what do you want
You
from
should-
me?
Yeah,
Okay.
but use your nothing proportionate to the power that you have.
What the fuck are
I
you
have
talking
no-
about? I have no idea.
no-
What is your point?
If you stop interrupting, which again, by the way, my other point that you said was absurd on its face, you still couldn't respond to. So maybe you should
I
take
honestly
time
don't
to
even
listen.
remember
Hold
what
on.
it was.
To the
Yes,
point.
because you're not listening to them, which is why you're incapable of responding.
Well, then say
Let's-
something that's worth listening to.
Yeah, listen and engage. Nothing is worth
I-
listening to.
I-
Come on. Let's.
So,
I feel like I addressed
if
it.
you need to use your power proportionate to the power that you have, your power in terms of choosing the nominee for the presidency, my power for choosing the nominee for the presidency is limited to a primary vote. That's it. When it comes to growing creators in this space, community members are the only ones that have that power. It's the only power you have is what community member or what streamers you support.
Republicans
retweet,
could have nominated
which ones
Nikki
you
Haley.
cover for.
Republicans could have nominated Nikki Haley.
Republicans could have. I couldn't have. So I can
Okay.
only just not support people who aren't worth supporting and support people who are worth supporting. Your argument
Hey,
is
Jeb.
because the DNC should be willing to use politicians that may behave in slightly less bad ways than Donald Trump. You're saying I now am going to support
Well, how
covering
do you
up
feel? How do you
Destiny's
feel about
sexual abuse of
how do you
women
feel about Al Franken
for his
How do you feel about
content
Al
creation.
Franken? How do you feel about
Al
Al Franken?
I don't
Do you
like
think- do you
any
think-
of.
Do you think the Democrats were right in removing someone over one of the
Hold
most
on.
milk
Probably not.
Hold on.
Al
Al
Franken?
Franken?
No, I don't like
Yes.
any cancel culture.
Even the people.
like
Okay,
that, but
stop.
That was
This
like
is not the same
4 years
thing.
ago.
What Al Franken did, at least to my knowledge, he was never accused of leaking nudes
No.
or
No,
recording
it's
people without
and
their
yet he was
consent.
removed from office nonetheless.
And that was a mistake.
yeah,
Yes.
yes.
But
Here's
it's
the
not
thing,
equivalent to
Why
it's not
is that a
equivalent to
mistake?
this.
Where's the
Oh,
where's the
Because
page-
he didn't actually
just to be
victimize
clear,
anyone.
just to be clear, it's not the same, and I agree. Like that was pretty ridiculous, right?
I'm not saying it's
I'm not
the same.
saying
No,
I'm not saying I'm not saying you're saying it's the same. I'm agreeing
Okay.
with you that it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. I agree. We can obviously evaluate the severity of different actions when it comes to how we want to feel about them. If a politician jaywalked one time, no. All right, I'm not gonna call somebody sweeping for say it's fucking jaywalking. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
I agree. But we just had a list of a bunch of different creators do stuff, some of which I think is not nearly comparable to this in kind of a similar way. Tim Pool unwittingly took Russian money.
millions of dollars to lie
Unwittingly,
to the
he didn't
public.
know. No, that's not what all
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, sure he did.
What
Sure
are
he
you
did.
talking about?
No.
You got to be careful because, like, what
Yeah,
you just
public
said is like
inviting
dangerous,
is-
right?
Yeah.
Because there is zero evidence
Dangerous?
of that. Yes, in terms of getting sued, Connor. Like he just
Okay,
said, he
Tim Pool can
knowingly took
fucking
it and then
sue
to
me.
lie.
Okay, I
Sure.
think.
No,
Okay,
no, no,
I'll
sure,
go.
sure.
I'll go.
Connor,
Tim Pool can
Connor,
fucking
wait.
challenge
I'm
me.
not wasn't done my point yet. Okay, everyone's jumping in.
Legal
Okay.
counsel.
I wasn't done my point. I
Yeah,
don't.
let's.
From the store, from all the evidence we have, okay, Tim Pool unwittingly took Russian money. He denied knowing that it was Russian. He denied that it had any influence on his politics. That's what he said.
Did
Now,
he say anything else?
now
Would he
we have.
say like, yeah, I took Russian money.
If
and it didn't influence my vote? He would never do that. He would never do
Okay,
that.
hold on.
If
Let
Destiny
him go.
said-
Let him go so we can
Jesus
go. I'll
Christ.
let you respond
If
at some
Destiny
point.
denied everything, and someone was like, you know what? I don't really believe XYZ happened because he's denying it. He's being credible. He's being consistent. You would have more of a case, but that's not what's happening. Like he hasn't denied any of the allegations. His behavior since the allegation speaks for itself, right? And like this is being compared to shit like unwittingly taking Russian money, doing fucking prostitutes and doing cocaine, which I don't think is necessarily wrong, right? If you want to do cocaine and fuck prostitutes, be my guest, have fun. And then this is what you people will do, okay? You bring
That's
up people like Bosch and Hassan, as comparisons here, pretending like you guys haven't been eviscerating these people going back months for their inappropriate behavior.
Yep.
It's not like it's not like this. This is why I'm calling it hypocrisy, right? If you guys like were saying, oh well, yeah, people like Hassan because they find him politically effective. We can't, blah 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 blah. No, that's not what's happening. You guys were saying that like, oh, he was fucking prostitutes and a prostitute thing that got raided. He's like fucking degenerate. He's a creep.
But you know full well his audience would make an appeal to political pragmatism. We've almost like all of us.
Would you criticize them for that? And they did. Did you criticize them for that?
No.
I would at least understand
That's wrong. The entire DGG community.
Why is that wrong?
The entire DGG community came together to shit on Hassan constantly in his community for saying
they also came together to
your
shit
video
on
about
Destiny.
Like the whole first part was shitting on Hassan.
Counterpoints. Go ahead.
Wait,
respond to that. We're gonna have to let counterpoints respond to that.
You can respond. I'm talking about the recent one where you were accused of like subtly sweeping.
I don't remember Hassan.
The one with Brianna Wu, where Queeman and Lav came on afterwards and criticized you for spending a considerable amount of the first part shitting on Hassan, shitting on Vosh, and it took you how long to finally get to Destiny on the stream that was supposed to be talking about Destiny? That's the argument.
But this is also where I feel like people haven't watched the stream because the first, and also here's a dynamic that nobody's really acknowledging, but it's just true. Okay. So like first 20 minutes is Destiny bad. Last 20 minutes is Destiny bad. And then in the middle, which is probably 45 minutes or an hour to be honest, is, hey, I think Mr. Girl's a fucking piece of shit for this reason. I think that President Sunday is a piece of shit for this reason. And we spend 20 minutes on it. But the reason why that it's like 50-50 instead of 80-20 is because there's no argument to be had between Brianna and myself about whether or not Destiny's behavior was bad. There's no one in the conversation. Hold on. There's no one in the conversation who was like, oh yeah, actually secretly what he did was good if you think about it.
Were you guys
Nobody
disagreeing
said that
about
shit.
Mr. Girl?
Yeah, you guys
Were
were
we disagreeing about Mr.
Mr.
Girl?
Girl or Lav either.
I think.
mean-
Well, I think we shared each other's passions with our criticisms of the man. But like, for instance, but as an example, like I still hold this. Like, and I don't think anybody can actually come up with a reason why I'm wrong in saying this. We are here in the Western world in air conditioning with food in our bellies, arguing about the sex life of some fucking retard on the internet, right? Ukrainian Anna is in eastern Ukraine where she walks out where mortars and fucking rockets rain down and kill her fucking neighbors. She's filming the fucking dead bodies of her neighbors and she's fucking taking cover in the hallway. Okay. So if you want to attack Destiny orbiters, have fun all fucking day. Leave the Eastern Ukrainian person who's watching her neighbors get slaughtered the fuck alone.
Well,
Do you
I
have
don't
a
think any of
beef
us
with my
agree
criticism
I
of Mr.
don't-
Girl
I don't
in
think-
that regard?
I don't think anybody here has brought up Ukrainian Anna.
Yeah.
I have. That was my criticism of Mr. Girl. Do you have an issue with my criticism of Mr. Girl going after Ukrainian Anna? Do you think I'm wrong?
don't. I don't. I think. I mean, it's a
Okay,
different topic.
well,
but I think.
this is.
Let
Hold
me-
on.
let me- let me respond, let me
It's the same
respond. Can I
topic. It's the
respond?
same
Can I
topic.
respond?
I'll give you a 10-second thing, then you can respond. Here's my thing. We are privileged talking about another man's fucking sex life. That we need to scale the sins that we're talking about here, where murder is a billion times worse than fucking leaking nudes.
I've got something
Okay,
after.
Respond.
I've got something after
Okay.
Lex.
Okay. I agree that murder is very much worse. Like I would probably buy a
Good.
billion than leaking nudes, no doubt. Okay, but just because you're in a war zone doesn't mean that you're now immune from criticism. Is that how that works?
You should probably scale your criticism based off of the sins committed, I would say.
I think he kind of did.
I
I
think
suppose
this
it was
is-
just
this is-
about this.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
sins committed
if
will be
the criticism is
firmly after the Destiny
I don't want to
report.
have to be on Twitter like arguing with somebody who says something dumb, and they're like, "Oh, I'm in a war zone. You can't fucking come out. Don't come after me, motherfucker. You said the dumb shit. Are you not an adult? Can I not criticize? I
I've got
understand.
something else,
Like
too.
this is exactly the kind of shit that like the ultra like like you're so privileged being a white person you can't speak on black issues. What are you talking about? You made the dumb point. I can speak to that.
Let me.
Oh
let me
no,
see if
Connor,
I
you're
can
saying
talk
that
about
because
it.
you're a white person. You don't know what it's like.
Let
being
me.
black.
Well, I am
Can I
white,
respond?
so you should listen
It's
to
like
me.
you're living like a
Hold
war
on.
zone with the police and
Okay.
everything. It's
Okay,
great.
hold on. No, I need to explain this because I need
Explain
people
it,
who
but
have
then
like
Jeptan has to go, and we
brains
gotta
to
recenter this
understand it.
conversation because
Okay.
we are off.
So-
the track.
So there are, let's say, 12 to 24 Destiny orbiters who, in the wake of the Mr. Girl report, minimize the Mr. Girl report. I'm saying
Me.
that let's say it's 12. Okay, there are 11 people that I don't give a fuck if Mr. Girl attacks. He can attack them all fucking day. I don't give a shit. The one person that he's fucking attacking that I think is out of fucking line is somebody who's trying to use DGG as a fundraiser campaign so her neighbors don't get fucking murdered. I think you can give that person a pass.
Yeah.
I think
So
that-
here's.
Sorry.
I mean, we still have to have our Ukraine debate, Connor. So
Yeah, I
We'll
think
get
I have
to-
a direct.
That's coming up
response
next.
That's
to
another
the Anna
debate.
thing.
Go
And then
ahead.
something that I noticed that I think is where you guys you're fucking me, Connor, because I love you and I hate Mr. Girl, but you're forcing me to agree with Mr. Girl on this.
Gross.
Is like with the Ukrainian Anna thing, I don't think you give people a pass because they're in a war zone. I think Lactoid phrased that pretty well. And I think if he said you're a disgusting, rotten person to your core, and I don't like you, but all this, I would have a problem with it. But I just reread his statement on Anna. It was 100% focused on specifically her rhetoric regarding Destiny and his sexual malfeasance. And I think as long as you compartmentalize your criticism to the thing you're criticizing, I don't think you're out of line. But to the thing that frustrated me and the thing that I think Mr. Girl and Lav, that stream that you did, were so frustrated with, and they've been frustrated with, and I agree with them on, is you kind of, it's all this language when you're talking about him is so nerfed compared to your language about people criticizing him. Even just now, you said, we're privileged to sit here and worry about Destiny's sex life. You didn't say we're here privileged sitting and worrying about the victimization of women and nudes shared that troubled someone so deeply that they were on the edge of killing themselves. Why
Okay.
did we nerf the subject so hard to
Because-
Destiny's sex life? We're not talking about Destiny's sex life. We're talking about Pixie's right to privacy of her own naked body.
I just
Okay,
want to be
I
clear.
don't
Hold
think-
on,
hold on,
Jeff.
Jeff.
Hold on.
He
Stop,
doesn't have
stop,
that.
stop,
He's
stop.
fucking
We're
No, I know,
not
but
going to
why
be
are
talking
we
about the
riffing
victims.
over-
I just don't want. I don't want to talk about the victims. Frankly,
Sure, my
I
bad.
wanna-
Yeah,
I don't want to name victims, stuff like that,
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
or litigate the victims, what they'd happen. We're talking about again, and I want to reiterate the subject. Right?
Yeah.
To what extent can we excuse bad actors in politics? And look, there's far more bad actors in this life than Destiny, right? There's people like RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Trump. If you want to look on the Democrat side of things, you can find some too, I'm sure, right? But like again, that's
Wait,
the question.
Tulsi's fine.
Nah. No,
Well,
she's
okay.
not.
No, people have
Okay.
vague notions that she's
Hold
an
on.
Assad plant lactoid. So
Okay,
she's
I'm
never
giving
a
you
bad
examples
person.
to
big
again center the conversation.
I can keep
Bad
this
example.
away from victims. So number one, I think
Wait.
part of this. What? Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
Well, number one, I think
specifically
part
in
of this is
reference-
subconscious. I think part of it is legitimately subconscious. With people you don't like, you're going to have more hyperbolic rhetoric. With people that you like, you're going to couch your language, even if it's conscious or a subconscious process, right? Now, that being said, it also kind of comes with like the aims of where you hope things will be. Okay, so I want people to notice the fucked up actions of some of the critics. Some of their criticism is perfectly valid. Okay. Some of their criticisms is fucking insane. And I want people to notice the fucking insane criticism because I want us to land somewhere approximating truth.
Okay. Specifically in reference to like supporting political figures of bad character. The right is so far in the red that the Democrats are incapable of being there. Like it's not even close. In terms of how terrifying and existential threat that Donald Trump is to this country. The very fact that like you can support like a rapist and Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, but I can't support some like random sex pest on the internet is the height of
Epstein's best friend.
Yes,
You understand that like the rhetoric, like you have to understand, like what you're saying. You're
Are you denying
essentially
the audio recording?
You're essentially there's no limit to this.
Are you denying the audio recording?
I don't know what audio recording you're talking about.
The audio recording where Jeffrey said he was like, "Oh, I was Donald Trump's best friend."
Yeah, from what I understand, Donald Trump denies being Epstein's best friend. I haven't seen sufficient evidence.
Of course he would. Like he wouldn't say he was.
Now, the logic that, and this is I think the most toxic part of like the whataboutism logic, right? This is the reason the Soviet propaganda machine perfected this back during the Cold War, and they utilized it every step they could. Is because it is because you can do this about everything. What could he do that you couldn't just be saying the exact same thing? Yeah, he murdered somebody, but hold on, but Rone, but how can we really get on his case? Donald Trump has murdered. His actions have led to the deaths of how XYZ amount of illegal immigrants. Like, how can we really talk about the fact that like he abducted 18 children potentially when there's a war happening in Ukraine? Like how can we? There's always something worse that you can deflect to.
Let me be clear.
Be clear.
Okay.
If
If any other person was president right now, like if Mitt Romney was president, Nikki Haley was president, or if Kamala Harris is president, I would be abandoning Destiny's political project.
What about Biden? He had rape allegations against him, didn't he?
Come on. Like, are you
kidding me? What do you mean? Come on. Did he not have rape allegations against him?
By the way, until she became his
they weren't like civilly litigated and found guilty.
Were there allegations? Was Epstein being Trump's best friend civilly litigated? You seem to believe that he was.
I mean,
there was rape allegations.
Jeffrey Epstein being on audio recording saying,
there was rape. There's a woman who's accusing Biden of rape.
I think there's a thought experiment that captured
and great.
Hold on. He hasn't gotten a chance for.
Sinte. Hold on. Get Sinte a chance.
It's just a completely different standard of evidence.
Okay, gotcha. Sinte, go ahead.
Thank you. I think there's a thought experiment that captured my sense of cynicism quite well. Is like if I could stop Donald Trump, his ambitions with fucking Greenland or whatever. I mean anything. By leaking somebody's nudes, I would do it.
Right.
By leaking the nudes myself.
Would you kill someone to stop him?
Are you in Denmark or Greenland?
Hold on, now stop,
no,
please.
No.
I want to interrogate this. Sint. Okay, but would you kill someone to stop Donald Trump?
I think so. Yeah.
You would.
I think
would you kill a child?
In a video game.
In a video game, of course. In a video game, I think we should sacrifice some children on an altar on top of a pyramid.
Okay, you're just trolling.
Lightning in the background. No, to ball. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, look, that's fine. I don't want to hear you guys ever complain about somebody's character again.
Wait,
You're
no.
supporting the worst character in this equation.
Yeah,
so
we're all
you have
supporting
no
worst
leg to stand up.
No,
You have no leg to stand
how are you going
up.
to criticize me for supporting a bad
No
character
leg
when
to
you
stand
are?
up.
Hold on.
Holly,
We
you're
also
supporting a
need to
bad character,
articulate
so
this.
now I get
I
to.
think the
So
thread
Hold
is
on.
outrage.
Lactoid.
This is like a 1 to 10 example.
No, we
And
need
like,
no. We need.
you're lying to
I
my
can
face.
articulate
No, it's 1 to
Counterpoints.
10
Go
my way.
counterpoints. I want to hear
I
from
can articulate this.
counterpoints.
Yeah. So hold on. So I think there's a fundamental mistake here. You guys are we talked about this earlier, separating the personal from the political, and then accepting that there's some level of political pragmatism that you have to have in order to achieve a goal. Okay. Now the argument that I think I made back then, and somebody could check it or whatever, is that the personal is going to inform the political. Okay. So when it comes to Trump cheating on his businesses, lying about stuff in court, cheating on his wife. Those are the most like trusted things that like anybody can be entrusted with within their life. And so as a result, I think that he's going to be a lying, retarded, cheapskate, scammer, whatever piece of shit. And today there are 80 people dead in the Potomac. And he was like, well, one of them was probably black or a woman. So it's probably that's the reason why. It's because of DEI. That's why there's 80 people dead.
Counterpoints. You nodded
That's
just real
criminal.
quick. You nodded along, right? When this guy Sinte said that he would leak nudes to stop Trump. Would you do that? Would you leak someone's nudes?
Leak nudes to stop. Yeah, 100%.
I'm
Absolutely.
deleting our Discord DMs, Connor, because I've got.
I already saved all the porn.
Would you?
I already saved it.
Would you? Would you kill someone?
Everyone who has sent me porn
in Minecraft.
Everyone who has sent me porn, I've already saved it. You're fucked. So, anyways, no, would I kill Donald Trump to stop Greenland? No, probably not. I think taking Greenland is based. Let's think about something that
You
Donald
think
Trump.
NATO will survive that?
What's that?
You think NATO will survive that?
If we
No,
purchased it,
we could buy it, right? Anyways,
Yeah.
we could do it through soft power, not hard
I
power.
don't think that will.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, so no, I wouldn't do it for Greenland. What's another like? Obviously, he's like harassing fucking Mexicans or whatever. Let's say that they talked about the veterans and the Native Americans that were detained by ICE for being suspected of being Mexican, right? Let's say that we knew that a few hundred people were going to get legally detained and ultimately killed by law enforcement as a result of his thing. Yeah, I would literally do a cost benefit analysis of American citizens getting killed, and then if there was like I could press a button and one person I don't know dies, and then that saves the 300 people. Yeah, I'm hitting that button 100%.
Exactly.
It's a calculation.
I understand. Like it's a calculation, but like what is kind of the question to you that I asked Ron? Is there any like limiting factor here? Like I know you're saying that it's going to be like
course.
in comparison to it's just like a weighted analysis, but like specifically, I mean, I really like what you said when you said like there's a subconscious thing here, and that's like very true. And I'm not holding that against you. I understand. Like it can be difficult when you really hate somebody, like the rhetoric can just come out more hateful, like without even thinking about it, compared to if you have maybe like a pre-established relationship with somebody. That's all fine and dandy. But like not only are in this case the allegations pretty bad, but like the reaction, like as I think you pointed out, Connor, like the reaction has been like absent of contrition. It's been absent of an apology, and in fact, it's been like the opposite. I've seen shit where it's like people who are like, "Oh, this is really bad," IP banned right from the chat, right? No Reddit posts except for the one, even allowed to talk about it.
and then they blocked that one. too,
And they,
so they
well, I didn't know that. Apparently, they blocked that one too.
Yep.
Jeb is saying, and then we're gonna ban it on Discord, like all sorts of shit. Where to me, this doesn't come across like it would seem to me that you're just setting yourself up for this shit to happen again.
Yeah,
and even if you even following along with this sort of like, well, we can excuse like bad behavior, etc., for like political gain.
No one's excusing it.
In this case, excusing it, I think for a lot of people, I think excusing it. But if you're just concerned about this, like we have no evidence to suggest this is going to stop. I mean, you even brought up January 9th, Connor. I mean, that's pretty scary.
Sure. So this is something that
not as scary as January 6th, though.
I really think I'm strong. I think I'm strongest in essays, and I'm going to focus on essays. I'm still going to participate in Twitch and YouTube poll because I kind of parasocially love you guys and I like bumping heads, right? So anyways, my project the whole time, however terribly I've done it, is I hope that by living my life the way that I live it, in saying the things that I say, that there are a series of young people who may see me on Destiny stream, who might see me on Vosh's stream, who might see me on Wick's stream, who might see me with Brianna Wu or whatever, and they'll be like, you know what? I think he's fucking right. I actually think that I'm an atheist or an agnostic. I don't believe in God literally, but I think that Christianity actually has moral virtues that are worth studying and analyzing and incorporating into my life. I'm hoping that they see that I actually love my kids and love my wife, and they're like, holy shit, monogamy and marriage and having kids and being loyal to your wife is possible and it's good for you. And here's somebody who looks happy. And then same thing with like, I actually have a really boring life. I work a job 9 to 5, I pay my bills, and then I take the little bit of extra money I have and I invest it into my dreams. And that's a pain in the ass. But the truth is I get to build these cool little things. And so I want to give young people hope. So however, like terribly I've been doing it, for the past half decade, I have not been condoning Steven's lifestyle. If anything, I've been fucking criticizing the fuck out of it. And I've been hoping that a few people will notice what I'm doing and break from him and come to me. So I'm not condoning what he does. If anything, I want Steven to fucking listen to me.
And look, I've got no criticisms about, I've seen nothing to indicate that you aren't anything other than a wholesome family man. Seriously. I mean,
Trying.
Well, you're trying, but I think that, you know, I've got nothing.
My wife and I
haven't seen anything bad.
Other.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything bad. But like, I think one of the, and this is like is more relevant to the topic of the debate. Like the concern is like, this is fresh off the press. This is the time for people to be mad, and I think people are hypersensitive when people appear to be sweeping for potentially like interpersonal reasons. And like I think a lot of like the political claim, especially now that we're after the election, like a lot of like the political claim is really just a smokescreen for an interpersonal desire to want this guy to continue. Like his fan base has been around through massive political changes. It's not, and I think this goes back to something you said before. It's not his politics. He's a charismatic guy. Like, and that's why this isn't going to hurt him.
They're fans.
They're fans. They like the guy. And the question is, like, if you really like a guy, like, and you begin to realize that, like, you are, you know, either supporting him or like not being harsh in the criticism of this, or being overly harsh towards other people as opposed to this person, like and this is potentially coming from like an interpersonal reason. I feel like there's at least something to criticize there, right? I'm not saying that people who do it are like irredeemable.
I think the charisma is why.
Well, and you can, and as a matter of fact, I think every orbiter, even the ones who have totally disavowed him, they have all taken massive amounts of shit for associating with him in the first place. Okay, and so I'm,
some of that's unfair.
Well, I think I and Dan are taking tons of shit because we're not saying like, no, we'll never talk to him ever again, right?
I mean, like Erudite was like accused of being like Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
So yes. Hold on. A lot of that's unfair. I agree. Okay,
but hold on. But I don't care if it's fair. The thing about it is like I was a human being.
Yes, you do. You do care if it's fair. Like,
well, no. People can do what they need to do. I was a human being for a decade before I was a Twitch or YouTube political streamer, and so for me, I actually almost see it as like a black mark. Just being real here, I see it as a black mark where you have a 2-year, 5-year, 3-year, 4-year personal, friendly, pseudo-professional relationship, and fucking allegations come out and you fucking cut bait and run. I actually think you're kind of a pussy. Now, you can kind of say like, hey, this is actually pretty fucked up. It violates my moral code. You know, I don't think that I can associate with this for now. I'll see how things land. That I think is sober. But when you see, no offense to anybody who, if the shoe fits, wear it. There were plenty of people who were like, oh shit, this is big shit. I'm going to take a hit. I'm going to run. And to me, those people are fucking pussies, and they'll say whatever the audience wants them to hear. Like they'll say whatever the audience wants to hear in order to fucking save their own reputation.
I think if you personally know the guy, like, you are more than well within your rights to like abandon that friendship.
I think that is a
classic lefty thinking, no loyalty.
I'm a rhino. First off, I'm a rhino, and secondly, like he violated their personal trust.
Sure,
like this isn't like an
I got a couple things. So one, I think there is something to be discussed about like the tensions between responsibilities to the greater political projects, responsibilities to friends, responsibilities to how you deal with these things. I think that's worth discussing, but I do want to turn the focus back onto the politics of it. And this is a question that I want to ask to Rone, to Sinte, and even to Counterpoints, perhaps, right? So let's use Destiny as an example. Might as well. We've been
What's
doing
the
it all
line?
night. So Destiny, it runs for DNC, right? He runs for influence within the DNC. Do you vote for him?
It depends on who the Republicans are running. If the
No,
Republicans
in
are
the
running
DNC, in
something,
the Democratic Party.
Yeah, it's the
specifically.
DNC.
yeah, no, it still depends on it's like in context. Like if the Republicans are running someone like
if
Trump
the alternative
or
is
fucking
Hassan
Elon Musk,
Piker,
yeah.
If the alternative is Hassan
or
Piker,
something like that, yeah,
every goddamn day of the week, you better fucking believe it, 100%.
yeah, it depends on the alternative.
Yeah, if the alternative is actually like a socialist or a communist revolutionary fucking freak who's trying to mobilize hundreds of thousands of young people to hate the United States of America and go out into the street and fucking throw bricks at cops, yeah, you better believe I'm voting for the fucking sex pest liberal over the fucking leftist revolutionary.
Wait,
What I really hated about
Rone,
Hassan
you
is
don't
when
agree
he
with that. Rone, you said policy was not an acceptable reason to support Donald Trump. So you disagree with him, Rone?
No.
Yes, you said Republicans are so deep in the red, Democrats could never get there because they supported Donald Trump for his policy.
Yeah,
even though he was a terrible person.
Trump's like,
but in this analogy,
Okay,
Donald
so you
Trump would be Hassan
disagree that
Piker.
policy
No.
is a good enough-
In this analogy, Donald Trump would be Hassan Piker. If there was a Nikki Haley or a Ron DeSantis who was running in the Republican Party, then that would be the person who would be flawed or fucked up, but you would still vote for them over the fucking callous fucked up person that you think is going to be disastrous.
No. Donald Trump would be the
Me too.
Destiny because he's the one with legitimate like character issues that go into the realm of illegality.
But there are worse character
Not
issues
Hassan.
than Destiny's character issues. Like there
Yes,
are worse.
of course.
character
That's the
issues.
point of the analogy.
But
You don't agree.
I know you're.
Let me ask you, like,
Rone.
specifically for Hassan, like, what character issues outside of politics, what character issues has Hassan demonstrated that's this bad?
If
I don't know
she's
if we
old
wanna
enough
get
to count,
specific.
she's old enough to mount. That's a pretty fucked up thing to say.
That's
when
worse
you- when-
than sharing someone's nudes without their consent. Clarify. Yes or no?
Yeah, no, that's terrible.
Which is
that's
worse?
Terrible.
Which is worse?
Yeah, which is worse?
Worse than
Yeah.
like, advocating for fucking minors? Like
Not
I don't.
advocating,
I'm probably advocating for fucking
making a
minors.
joke.
Like,
What is worse, making a joke or sharing someone's nudes without
Listen,
their
guys,
consent?
I think no. Hold on. So here's the thing. There are these things.
This is
that
the
we
problem
don't-
Mr. Girl has. That you
these-
can't answer
no,
that
these
question.
are
by the
no.
way.
I'm going to answer the question.
No,
These are
Rone
the
can't,
things.
though.
Okay, well, I'm going to. So these are the things that are kind of like known but not said. So I'll just fucking say it again. I just talked to fucking Lav the other day. I asked her whether or not Paris Jackson had a consensual but illicit sexual affair with Hassan when she was 17. She said, yeah. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and roll with the fact that allegedly Hassan Piker had sex with a 17-year-old. And according to Rone, he said something that lines up with that. So yeah, I would view leaking nudes, not the non-consensual shit. The non-consensual shit I would actually probably put a little bit worse. But a 25-year-old having sex with a fucking 17-year-old, even if it's consensual, I would view that as fucking a phebophile fucking bullshit, an indication of some greater character flaw. 100%.
Would you see that as worse than like the recording and leaking? The non-consensual recording.
The recording without consent, absolutely. Yeah. I would see recording without
Like, that's
consent
a whole
as
ass
worse
action.
than having maybe we're talking about like degrees of evil here. Where
No, I know. I'm asking you
stuck
to
here.
defend either of them, but like,
Right.
but the point I'm trying to make is that like, okay, this is I did see that part. This is a relatively new thing that I guess I just learned. Like that's a fair point to make. I feel two things. The first thing I think is if the allegations of the audio recording come out to be true, and you think that's like either on par or like somewhat close to be as bad, I mean, then we're dealing with somebody who has like character flaws, worse than Hassan potentially, because there's also a greater extent. But then the other part is like let's be honest with ourselves here. Let's say that came out and like this Destiny stuff never happened. Would you be attacking Hassan's fans for sweeping for him?
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
Yeah. Because the character flaws are not actually my issue. The character, like I think Hassan is just a very like a bore and
Politically ineffective.
Yeah, you don't like
politically ineffective.
No, politically ineffective.
And here's the thing: I'm actually kind of in the wrong because he has a bigger audience. So who's actually more politically ineffective? Like at the end of the day. Like
well,
just,
leftists don't.
He's also
vote,
he's also hotter, so
Lactoid,
it's hard to know.
Lactoid,
I
hold on.
don't know.
So
Like I
I want to make sure
just-
everybody heard me. Leftists and progressives don't vote, so don't worry about political effectiveness coming out of the left wing.
Here's the issue: is like for
so-
the analogy, Destiny is the
I
Trump.
do, but in
Destiny
Germany,
is the morally worse person with worse character things accused of him, because the issue here is if we agree that if the Cherry stuff is true, it's worse than if the Hassan stuff is true.
I gotta
They both
reiterate.
have
No victims
Gotta
names.
reiterate,
It's
we
hard.
don't-
It's
Sure.
hard. I know.
If the unconsensual recording and sharing and the Hassan thing, apparently we can say that victim's name is true,
Yeah.
then that Destiny's would be worse. Then Hassan and Destiny both have allegations. Destiny's is worse, and then Destiny has proven malfeasance that Hassan just straight up
Hold
does
on.
not have.
There's
Wait,
2
wait,
points.
wait,
We got to hit him. I don't want to
really
lose him.
I want to hear
go,
Connor.
Rone. I'll write them down.
Someone
Rone, if you don't
go.
talk, I'm going to talk.
Someone
No,
go.
Okay, so I'm going to
Go.
talk. I'm going to talk.
Okay,
Okay.
can I just
So-
quickly?
No, wait,
Yeah.
we're gonna motherfucker. Connor, go please.
Now, well, now I'm fucking
Counterpoints,
losing him.
then Rone. Now I'll make a
Okay.
decision.
Okay, so we're talking about the personal and the political. Okay, so when it comes to the personal, we have to understand. I think I actually wrote this down. As the stakes increase, I think the responsibility decreases and the inverse. And what I mean by that is you ask the DNC chair. Okay, so let's say that Destiny has the same allegations and Hassan has technically better allegations against him that are not as serious. Okay, but let's say the Democratic Party is split straight down the middle and they're going to seize power. Hassan Piker is 49% of the fucking party, and they are rabid socialist communists. They want to kill your capitalist parents. They want to have a Chinese fucking revolution. They want to do all this bullshit, right? They want to do all this vanguard leftist bullshit, okay? And then Destiny has the worst allegations, but he wants basic liberalism, a progressive tax rate. He wants you to be nice to the gays or whatever. Of course, 10 times out of 10, I am overlooking the fucking worst personal allegations in order to make sure that the policy doesn't destroy the country.
Yeah, you're making Lactoid and I's point that Rone disagreed with, which is that you can support
do I
Trump for
disagree
his policies despite being the worst character choice because you find the policies to be so much more important.
I wish you made this argument during the
But are
election.
rhinos-
level.
Wait, I'm literally advocating for that.
No, I
No,
don't know.
rhino-
You're not,
rhino-
because you're
Why
saying
wasn't
it's
this coming
unacceptable
up months
for
ago
Trump.
during the election?
Hold on.
Yes,
You
I
view
literally,
rhinos.
I literally am.
Oh, you gave me the second point. The second point. This is what I wanted to say to
Good.
Lactoid. Okay, so us 6 people here, we relatively like to talk about policy. We like to talk about immigration. We like to talk about current events. We like to talk about news. We like to talk about all that shit. 90% of on people on Twitter, they don't give a fuck about that. They only care about the battles of personalities. So what's more effective? Me typing out an exactly to the maximum character limit treatise on how I don't like Hassan's policies, or me calling him a fucking pedophile, right? Me calling him a pedophile is infinitely more effective for being like, this guy fucking sucks and no one should listen to him, right? And
I don't know though, because it doesn't stick. It doesn't stick because it's fantastical, and we don't know.
But
it
now
to be
you're
true.
now you're changing the hypothetical. You're
Wait.
I'm not.
Hold on, Connor, maybe I'm confused. I get your point, but like, what was the point in response to?
So, well, I think the question was, would you attack people on a personal level over policy or something?
No. That's what okay, I understand. What I asked was, let's say these
would I
allegations.
attack people outside of the group?
Yeah. If these
For personal
allegations,
shit.
like let's say the leaking news thing didn't even happen to Destiny. Let's say it happened to Hassan. I mean,
Yeah.
if we're like,
I would
I
use that as a
think- I
cudgel to
think
beat him up
Destiny's-
with every single day, 100%.
for sure, and I think a lot of Destiny's audience would as well. And I just don't like. It just feels like such a hypocritical act to for years now be raving as to this person's a bad person and you can't support them. This person's a bad person, you can't vote for them. This person's a bad X, Y, blah, 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 blah.
It's how
And
Trump
then
happened.
and then it's how Trump, how would you ever consider voting for Trump? Trump
I
is a terrible
said this-
person. I've had debates where people are like, how could you possibly even consider that? And we go through the whole policy consideration thing. And then you guys just sort of made that argument, but it feels like you're making the argument at a time that's pretty convenient to make that argument.
Okay,
Yeah.
so hold on.
Yeah.
So we could check the
So,
fucking
so, your,
videos.
so your philosophy is wrong. Like your philosophy of ignoring bad character for the sake of policy and power, that's wrong.
I don't think he said that.
Thank you,
No.
Connor.
No. I mean, it's a philosophy you're advocating for when you vote for this guy. So
No,
like,
it's not.
what are you
No.
talking-
Saying,
Yeah, it is.
Hold on.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. When
No.
you were overlooking, when you
It's
were
an appeal to
overlooking a fucking
pragmatism.
a rape
Yeah.
attempt, yeah, you are making you're advocating for that philosophy.
So hold on.
The reason I'm making this argument
you
right
are.
now and not 2022 is because the world looks way different and much scarier nowadays than it looked 2 years ago.
Correct.
Hold on. Right now, I would not be advocating for like debasing Hassan or like fucking with his shit right now either, because we need him too. We need everybody. We need fucking Jeffrey Dahmer to fight on our side.
What? No.
I understand what you're
Christ.
saying. Yeah.
Connor,
Hold-
should
hold on,
Jeffrey
hold on.
Dahmer fight for your side? What do you think?
Well, we did this I actually literally did this on Twitter with the fucking Nazis and ethno-nationalists pointing out to a Republican that they're disproportionately going to support Trump. And does he ally himself with those people? Because he was trying to do the same shit to me. No, I don't think that you should ally yourself with fucking serial killers, right? But anyways, so hold on. Here's the thing. So I suspect that everybody in this room has a higher than 90 IQ, and I respect you for it, okay? So I'm going to articulate this. I might have brought up personal issues like Donald Trump cheated on his wife, and people are trying to split the personal and the political. I am trying to say that the personal affects the political. So if he's willing to lie to the person closest in his life, to cheat on her during her most vulnerable moments in life, during pregnancy, this is supposed to be a time of joy and celebration in a family man's life, and he is willing to lie to that woman in order to go stick his dick in a porn star, then he's a fucking piece of shit. But it's not just that he's a piece of shit and he's a perfect politician. It's that I suspect his piece of shittiness is going to inform his bad politics. And so as an example, because I think this guy is retarded and he follows his impulses, today, as an example, I already said this, he cited DEI as the cause of the DC plane crash while they're still fishing bodies out of the Potomac. I don't think anybody with any kind of like IQ over 90 or moral center greater than a lizard would say those things.
No, well, look,
Yeah.
fair criticism. I think that's bad. I could.
But the personal affects the
political. I could do the whataboutism thing and say, there's a bunch of people on Twitter talking about how the Trump is responsible before we fish out the bodies, right? I think Wick just had somebody on just before this who was perhaps making that argument. But here I'm not even going to do that. I just did it a little bit tacitly, but I'm going to say directly, people shouldn't do that. That's shitty. All right, you shouldn't do that.
Hold on.
Now, if you address, I'm sorry, and I might be losing my train of thought a little bit,
notes.
But to address like the personal informs the political, right? He cheated on his wife. He lied to somebody at a moment that they're most vulnerable.
He raped a woman.
He did something bad to a woman when she was vulnerable.
He raped a woman.
I think this would apply to the Destiny's actions a little bit as well, right? I mean, cheating is bad for sure, but when I would say there was a violation of privacy at a time when someone was vulnerable there, and in fact, you can also point to terrible politics as well. And I think that there could be a level of disrespect. I think the personal is bleeding into the politics as well, right? I mean, we're talking about, he was celebrating the Trump dude who got shot.
Rone and I are going to be best friends after this. Yep.
Also, he's undermining a ton of potential future political operatives for your side by leaking their naked bodies in a way that ended up on the entire internet. That was one of Pixie's first things. She's like, I can never have an online personality anymore.
Come on.
Listen, she put a fucking Substack article up. It's out.
Bro.
It's done.
Yeah.
She put a Substack article out.
I don't want that to be the focus.
So anyway,
I want the focus to be on the political actors and the political influencers that we're talking about.
One of the first things cited by the victims of Destiny was, I can never have a fucking political face anymore, because it will always be attached to videos of my body that were non-consensually sent. How many times is he going to do this? January 9th, he's saying he might do it again.
I'm going to defend Wick. Wick is the host. He asked you for some level of etiquette. We can have a sober adult conversation without bringing up victims' names. That's what he asked for.
Of course, and that's what I just did. The victims of Destiny, to again recenter the conversation, one of the first things the victims of Destiny cited was, I can never have a political career again. I can never have an online talking career again without it always being linked to being the one who was found in a video shared against my consent with Destiny.
Monica Lewinsky has a career. She can still have a career.
Monica Lewinsky has a career because that's exactly what the victim is saying. I will never have a career separate from this now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will never have
Yeah.
a career that is not
So-
tied to one of my deepest traumas now.
Hold on.
That's
so
a problem.
All right, there were a few points that I actually thought were really good that I want to address real quick. So, Lactoid, you said that, like, well, I think it's fucked up that Democrats are capitalizing on the incident right now while they're still fishing bodies out of the Potomac. So I don't agree with the notion that you can't capitalize off of incidents, particularly if you can speak to something specific that the other side has done. As an example, the article that they almost listed over and over and over again whenever they were criticizing Trump is that he dismissed a bunch of heads of the TSA and the Transportation Security Administration or whatever. And then he also froze new hiring for air traffic controllers. And this is a part of the DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency cuts across the board that are screwing over tens of thousands of
It
people.
had nothing to do with this.
We don't have know if it. We don't have the connection. That's
No,
just
we
as
do.
valid.
I'm not saying that it's true.
Right. But that's just
training
that's
process
just real quick. That's just as valid as somebody saying, well, Biden's DEI policies caused like meritless people to get in power, and that's what
I think one of them is more
wait.
probable
Do
than
you
the
think
other
it's just?
one.
Wait, do you
you're
think it's just as
100%
valid?
right.
Do you think
The
it's? Do
Biden
you think it's just as
criticism is
both
valid?
are speculation. Both are speculation.
Yeah, but the
Do you think
Biden
it's
one is
just as
more probable.
valid
The training
as-
process for air traffic controllers, even experienced ones, is over a month. There is literally no way Trump's hiring freeze caused this. There's 0%
sure.
chance.
I agree, by the way.
But the
Biden one is
gut-
more probable.
the
to be
point
clear.
is the
Wait,
gutting.
wait.
Uh-huh.
I need to ask Lactoid this question. Do you think it's just as valid as saying that the LA wildfires were caused because of the fucking Delta smelt? Do you think it's at least just as valid as that?
Well, so the argument is that there was water. There was water that wasn't being directed.
So the answer is yes or no.
Stop. I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Let him answer your question the way he wants
Thank
to answer.
you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Wick. I don't know that much of that many details. But if the argument is, hey, because of XYZ environmental reason that we don't like because environmentalism is bad, whatever the fuck. If they're arguing that for environmental reasons, water was being diverted away from areas being mismanaged, and water was being diverted away. And I think her own fire chief got fired because she was saying the mayor was mismanaging shit and was being bad at handling the whole situation. And so if Trump's saying, hey, this is related, that could be true, and we have a lot more time here to make those arguments. I agree that right now this happened last night with the crash at the Potomac.
I think I'm just going to go ahead and say I think it's irresponsible and fucking retarded of him to say that.
But sure, great. And again, what are your thoughts on what Jeb said?
What did Jeb say?
It's at least more likely than the people on the Democrat side saying that Trump's hiring freeze caused this.
Okay.
It is
so
less
Are we talking about
absurd
this?
than
Stop.
Come on,
I think
No, we're not
anyone
talking about the fish anymore.
We're talking about the DEI,
Hold
about
on,
the air
stop.
traffic control issue.
First
that
of
just
all,
happened.
I give more weight to what the president of the fucking United States says, and I find that more condemnable than what people on Twitter have said. But you're correct. Everyone on Twitter blaming anything about what Trump did on this is also retarded and dumb and stupid. You are correct. Both are correct. Yes, anyone who is before an investigation has been launched and we don't have any information right now, we can just make guesses. Anyone saying anything and using this as a weapon, the 60 dead bodies, making bullets out of them to shoot at their political enemies, needs to really take into account, and search their soul to see what kind of person they are, because they're not going to like what they find when they do that. So stop.
Wait.
That's a principled guy. Look at that. That's principles.
Okay.
Right
Wick,
there.
I have a question for you. Do you acknowledge that Republicans do this on a 10-to-1 ratio?
Yes,
compared to
and
Democrats?
you know what?
Okay.
I disagree hardcore.
I don't
of course you
do what Republicans do because I think Republicans do bad shit. So I don't do that bad shit. That's it.
Yeah, but it's effective, no?
I don't care if it's effective. If I could be effective by going out and killing 10 people at random, I would still say, no, the cost is too high. I'm violating my principles. I don't care about being effective enough to kill 10 people.
But Republicans kill more people, Wick, though. Republicans kill more people.
They do.
Okay.
Officer, how can you arrest me for drunk driving? Trump did worse things.
Right. One of the principles should also be that you should
How could
avert
you be worried
this
about
kind of
Why are we worried about my drunk driving when Trump's the president. Okay,
Why
Trump's
does
done
the
way worse.
FBI do literally anything?
That's what I
else
say
to
every
investigate?
day.
No one's making whataboutism arguments. We're just
Okay, hold
calling
on.
you out
You
for your
have been
blatant
making
hypocrisy.
You've
your
been making
blatant
nothing but
hypocrisy
whataboutism
in terms of
arguments
all
the
that.
entire
No one's
panel,
done.
dude.
No one's done any whataboutism.
You
don't know
have
what
done it
whataboutism
8 or
is.
10
Don't know what
times already
whataboutism
so
is.
far.
You don't know what
Okay.
it is. It's okay.
Hey, Wick,
No
can
one-
you
not-
at least
not everyone has to
acknowledge
be
that what
intelligent.
about Republicans
Not everyone has
doing
to
it
be
more?
informed on all these
Okay.
little.
That is a
Yeah, I'm
whataboutism.
gonna pass it to counterpoints. I don't want to get.
Thank you.
Look, I don't want to get stuck on this. This is a
Actually
debate. If
is.
you guys want to hold the airline debate, maybe I would love to have that. But
There is no
Yeah.
debate to be had
Okay.
until an investigation
The-
happens, but it's definitely
Alright.
not Trump's hiring freeze.
I want.
I think it was a good guess.
My problem. This is my problem. Okay, I am a neoconservative out of the closet. Okay, George W. Bush made neocon very unsexy for a couple of decades. I had an aversion to the fact that I was a neoconservative, but eventually I was like, you know what, being liberal in principle but leaving the left because they're too fucking crazy, and then also espousing American virtues internationally through soft and hard power is actually fucking based, and that's actually what I talk about a majority of the time, right? So anyways, I like rhinos who are actually principled. I like neocons who are actually principled and not total fucking freak war hawks. There's only a few of them, but I like them. And unfortunately, I like liberals over MAGA, but I don't like liberals over rhinos or neocons. And the reason why is because I think liberalism is spineless. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is because you guys are acting like I'm doing a political calculation so I can make sure that Destiny and his camp win. And the truth is I don't want them to win. I want liberal values to win, but I don't want everybody to be a Coomer degenerate, drug addicted, not Destiny specifically, but drug addicted fucking freak. I don't want that.
I do actually.
I
Is
do
your
want
plan-
to take this
Tyler,
moment.
We need to
Hold on.
weaken for the great.
I want to ask one
Greenland
question
War.
about that because that actually goes back to something
Can
you said
you
before.
hold on for a minute because I want
Sure.
to make a little money here, and I
Write
do
it
have
down.
some
Oh,
super
of course,
chats,
of
and
course.
so
How
allow
dare
me to
you.
just go through these, and we can add
Like
them to the
socially, we
discussion
have
line.
very different counterpoints.
Yes, but let me get to the super chats. I just need to make a little money today. Okay, thank you, and thank you for the super chats. Keep them coming. I'll read them when I can. $5 from another new account to say, "Oh my God, why are you making this political? It was pilot error. Listen to the damn audio. Heli pilot asked for and got visual separation. It's not political."
I'm gonna piss real quick.
$10 from Audacity. I think the major difference is that Destiny stuff is verifiable, and Trump's EJC stuff has the outs of it supposedly happening a long time ago, and the bias of the New York City justice system. Thank you for the $10.
Go fuck yourself, whoever that was.
$2 from Cameraman 502. Which president was the one free grope made for? $5 from Trib1. If you voted for Trump, you are a hack. There is a rap sheet of reprehensible stuff from Trump before, during, and after his first run. Ignorance is not an excuse. $2 from the Trib1. Trump has slogans, not policy. He's also anti-USA. Thank you for the $2. $5 from In Pursuit of Knowledge. The difference is that conservatives love that Trump is a bad character. They like that he raped women because it owns the libs. And thank you for the $5.
Christ.
Okay. Back to the matter at hand. Lactoid, you had a question? Go for it.
Yeah. Is your plan here to what I get asked? I've been asked this. This is like back in high school. Like we would ask, like, if it was like the World War II and like you were in Germany, what would you do? Would you fight against the Nazis, or like how
What
would
you're
you
doing right now.
How would you deal with them, right? And some people would say like, well, what I would do is I would join the Nazi party and then change it from the inside. I'd be like the good one, and I would like do my best to like alter course and be close enough to Hitler to like tell him not to do the bad shit.
So
but I can't be too critical to Hitler.
That's the Rhino philosophy.
Yeah, but I can't be too critical to Hitler because
I want to
otherwise
know
he
where
might
this
push me
is
away.
going. But
Well,
I kinda like it.
the question is, like you said before, Connor, you were talking about how you want to be like the example. Maybe somebody might tune into Destiny and see you, and like this is an example of a good person that you can be. Like you can be that advocate. Are you trying
a
to
bad
like
person
make?
is trying.
Yeah. Well, okay, come on. Are you trying to like change the Nazi party from the inside? Is that like kind of the comparison here? Are you trying to like be? Is your goal here to like
Is
infiltrate
DGG the Nazi
the badness
party,
and
though?
make
I
it
mean-
well, in this hypothetical?
DGG,
he
they're
is.
Nazis, you know that?
Yeah, no. So unironically, yes. And the reason why is because
Strategy.
I'm very serious in this. So I started like very Christian, very conservative. My parents are dogmatic Christians. They're religious literalists. They both believe in Christ as the savior and incarnation of God. Like I went to church every day for 18 years. And I
Hey.
feel like as a result of that like grip, that religious grip on my life, when I turned 18, or actually being real, like 16, I rejected all that shit. And I was like, hedonism is the way to go. Let's smoke pot. Let's drink. Let's, try to hook up with girls. Let's do this. Let's do that.
Logically
And that,
follows.
and that lasted until I was 22. But when I was like 22, I was like, holy shit, I'm having all these pleasurable experiences, but I'm a miserable, selfish cunt. What is wrong with me? Why do I hate myself? Why do I hate everyone else? Like, this is fucking terrible. And so what I did is, I'm still not a religious literalist, but I started incorporating like the values and virtues of my parents back into my life. And slowly but surely, I created like, I don't want to say created, but I rediscovered the morality. Like, it's like the story of the prodigal son who returns from being a fucking asshole, right? And so as a result, it's like, I feel liberals, in my opinion, and Destiny specifically, this is going to be a little mean. I feel like he is in a hell of his own creation. Okay? He is rich. He is powerful. He has access to unlimited pussy. Plenty of people want to know what he has to say. And yet I feel like he just lost 80% of his friends in one fell swoop. And that is a self-caused wound. And that wound is caused by nihilism and hedonism. And no offense to liberalism,
Wrong.
liberalism.
No, wait,
Well, but would you agree it's also?
Wait, why is liberalism?
I would.
Would you agree it's also?
weird
And I think
connection.
this is the main part.
Okay,
You
whatever,
agree that it's
sorry.
also
It
caused
was
in large
caused
part
by leaking of
by
news.
it's caused in large part by a disregard for other people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I, by the way, I think nihilism and atheism, or at least anti-theism, I think it encourages a self-centered worldview because logically, you are here. You're only here for 60 to 80 years. You're going to
True.
die. It's going to be perpetual oblivion. You're not going to be conscious. So you might as well maximize your pleasure and minimize your pain. And if a few people get hurt, and if a few,
is also part of like finding friends and being like social and happy in a community.
But you're not a sociopath.
Yeah, because
You're not a
so for us with empathy, right?
And a theist, then you can be not a sociopath and an atheist. These things have nothing to do with each other. You are fighting shadowboxing. You are shadowboxing something.
Echte or Sint.
No, Sint is okay. It's okay.
Sint. So okay. I'm not saying that religious people aren't capable of horrors or terrors, and I'm not saying that religious people can't do wrong or evil. Okay.
However, saying it's correlated.
Okay, but I'm saying that a sociopath who is a devout Christian has 10,000 laws about their conduct that tells them that they cannot hurt other people. Whereas a nihilist hedonist only has the law, and if they're sociopathic, they only have the laws that they themselves choose to abide by. And so I would rather have somebody who chooses to go by codified laws that have evolved over thousands of years, rather than somebody who says, I'm just going to create my own laws. Because the truth is, especially smart people, I want to finish this idea, especially smart people can post hoc justify almost any bad behavior.
That's true. Even Christians, like even people with a lot of with a holy book full of laws, can justify with these things. Like that doesn't.
Well, and matter. I think they would be. I think they would. No, matter. It does matter. It
no,
does
they don't matter.
I do want to sidestep. I think that this is like the religious debate is.
No, this matters.
Is a
no, this is related. I promise you, it's related.
Okay.
No, it's related. Morality.
I mean, you've heard of those Salem witch trials, like
related.
They were fucking witches. They were worshiping the devil.
Right?
Fucking murder. We didn't kill enough witches.
Come on. Like,
no,
I'm serious. Have you seen TikTok? We didn't kill enough of them. So, anyways,
that's ridiculous.
No, it's true.
So I think atheists. I think an atheist with a functioning like sense of empathy. Like they're like, for example, like I'm not a religious guy.
This all at the feet of atheism.
I know. I'm not a religious guy. Like I generally have like I like when other people feel good, right? It's like a thing, right? But I think that sometimes, but not always. We can talk about that later. But when it comes to like actions like this, I think that if you think like if in your mind you're like I'm just going to send this, or I'm going to record this. I'm just going to send this.
Yeah,
There's
it's unempathetic.
I think there's like two. Like, either you just like this is a complete disregard of other people. Like you're just very like
It's
egoist,
apathy.
which an apathetic feeling towards other people's well-being, or you do have empathy and you are like very you feel really bad about it, but like it's like you got this massive kink. And like it's just like oh like the
hold on
that could be part of it. I don't know what the motivation is.
I want to add another one while we're psychoanalyzing
into a spiritual level.
Okay,
and it's
hold
just
on,
not
stop.
there.
None of this. Like honestly, I don't know.
well, then let me finish and then we'll move on.
Struggling to see how this relates to the topic at hand.
Because we're talking about morality and the morality of people who act in politics and whether or not we should condemn them. That's what, and so now we're talking about morality. So, anyways, consequentialism.
But we're also
okay.
talking about like,
hold on. I want to explain this. Okay. So I think that the way, so I already said that I don't think atheism alone is sufficient to get you where I think Destiny went. Okay. I just think that it's I think that atheism logically leads to nihilism. Nihilism logically leads to hedonism. And then if you have a certain level of sociopathy, you can post hoc justify anything. I also think that in this, moral systems don't exist, they're all equivalent, who cares mentality, then you can basically use consequentialism, because consequentialism is inherently appealing. It basically says that if a fucking tree falls in the woods and nobody's around to hear it, then who gives a shit, right? So if you audio record fucking sex acts and you share it with friends and nobody leaks, who cares?
So you're saying Destiny needs to go to church. That's what you're saying.
Yes, actually, 100%.
Let's on that note, right? I wanna ask this. Again, Destiny's the most recent one, so I guess he's the example we're using. So let's assume everything that has been said about him is true. Everything that he's accused of doing, he did. How can he come back from this? Should we accept him back? Or let me ask it this way. At what point should Democrats or people who are former DGGers or former orbiters or what have you, what steps need to happen for people to be like, okay, we can start, listening to you again. We can start platforming you again. We can start
sex addiction therapy,
whatever,
probably,
right? Whatever happens to be, right?
Like actual actions taking place, like that he does, to at least make an impact on this issue. Believe it or not, a lot of young men, just men in general, a lot of men do the kinds of things that Destiny did. Like I've had people fucking try and like take pictures of me without my consent. And it's really fucked up.
Real quick, have you done what Destiny did?
No, I've had what Destiny did done to me, and it's shockingly common. And I think maybe
this was one of all of high school in the 2000s.
No, even people in their fucking 30s still fucking do that shit. And it's terrible.
In
it's
their
bad.
30s, really?
Yeah, yes, unfortunately, yes.
Degenerates.
I don't know. Men are
liberals.
creeps.
But here's my thing: is like men won't stop being creeps until people start holding them accountable publicly.
Well, okay, hold on. Well, first off, honestly, Destiny, the best thing Destiny could do is start a dialogue about this kind of behavior and why it's bad, and like influence. Like,
has he made any attempt to do that?
It's bad. Okay.
No, and that is damning, right?
Yeah, and here's my thing with.
But that doesn't mean wait. That doesn't mean he can't. That doesn't mean there isn't time in the future for him to do that.
Yeah, you think it's gonna happen?
Yeah,
I
fell for it again award.
No. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think there is a chance that like he can start that conversation.
All right.
Yeah, here's the
Like,
issue.
you
The best
really don't
thing
think so?
with Destiny is the same thing that would have been the best thing with Trump.
No.
Which
Wait,
was
Lacto, you think that there's no chance?
I think if it was the first time, yeah. If he was younger, sure, I'm willing to. When I first heard about it, my initial thought process was like, yeah, that's bad, but like, we can't like jump to conclusions, right? But from shit keeps happening, shit keeps coming out, and the response is nothing. There's no kind of like
no remorse,
no remorse. It's just narcissistic rage against anybody who dares criticize him. And this to me, very much like Connor was pointing out, this to me demonstrates a true sociopath. And Sensei,
lack
you
of
said he is a
the lack-
sociopath, but you just don't care.
so.
You like him because he's like.
I like
No,
bullet
no,
fire.
no, no, no,
I
no.
like
I
bullet
don't even
fire.
like him.
the lack of regret in his like messaging so thus far.
Like
has
he's
been
like
pretty
what?
apparent.
You're
Has been pretty
mid-30s.
apparent.
Yeah, but you're mid-30s and there's like what 6 or 7 allegations, or just shit keeps piling up. Like how many more?
Hey, can
So,
I answer
well,
the
hold on.
question that you asked, Wick?
I'll wait.
Because the question asked was where's the line where we stop supporting him and we stop giving him chances? And my argument is that it was the same as it is for Trump.
No. The
which
question
No, it's the other way around.
wasn't
It was
that.
the other way
The
around.
question is like after assuming everything he did, he's accused of, he actually
was
did.
true.
At what point do we say, okay, he's repented, and we could accept him back?
He has to show it.
No, there was.
In his
I thought there
actions.
was both questions. I thought also you said,
I
or is
mean,
there a point where we just say it's done?
I mean, if Donald Trump wasn't president right now, I would be done with him. Like that's my line. But like the very fact that like we're in this
So as
political
long as Trump
climate.
is-
You hate him.
I think so.
It's like
I think so.
Yeah,
everything.
Donald Trump, the fascist, the rapist, the criminal, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend.
fascist,
Yeah,
the fascist.
absolutely. I fucking hate his
The
guts.
fascist,
You're
Jeffrey.
doing
All right, well then go, Connor. Because apparently I
Yeah.
thought that Wick also asked when is the line where we just
I
say
mean,
no more.
like
as
I think
well,
the whole topic is that question, but yeah.
No more or welcome back?
That's my thing. I thought he asked both. but
Welcome back.
Yeah, that's understood.
Okay, well, no more is probably like rape, murder. I think we can start there and work our way back in.
I think what he's doing
for-
now, honestly, is a little bit in the no more category.
Repeat. It's
Oh,
repeat.
100%. So the welcome back, yeah, I think that's going to have to be, it's going to be evaluated by each individual, but I think it's going to have to be extended periods of time without that behavior like redemonstrated. And by the way, the clock doesn't start in 2023. It starts in January 9th, 2025.
Yep.
So he was trying to say, oh, this is 2022. This is 2022. And it's like, no, dude, like you were in the middle of a sex scandal for illicitly sharing nudes and you were joking with more women about sharing more nudes. That doesn't show contrition. It doesn't show apology. It doesn't show anything like that.
He has to express regret.
Well, but here's the thing. I'm with Lactoid. I don't even know if he's capable of regret.
Everyone's capable of regret.
So hold on.
He hasn't demonstrated it.
He hasn't demonstrated it yet.
I want to tell you how I got to regret. Okay, so the way that I got to regret was I had a series of hedonistic relationships with a series of women, and then on the probably I don't know like 6th one that I actually really cared about, it fucking hurt a lot to break up, and I was like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. Like we had fun, very cool in a lot of ways, very toxic in a lot of ways. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to find my wife. And so I actually became like celibate for a few months and I found my fucking wife. And so the thing about it is like hedonism, I've criticized hedonism tonight, but like mature hedonists often live very normal lives. But the reason why is because they realize that if they do a bunch of hard drugs, they're going to pay a bunch of hard health consequences and they're going to have terrible relationships and they might become criminals. They keep good relationships with their friends and family because that brings them some level of contentment and joy. So what I would say is, you're like, when will Stephen mature? When will he show regret? I don't expect him to do that, but I would be interested in a mature hedonistic perspective from Stephen where he's like, I don't want to fuck with e-bitches anymore because they fuck up my life. So I'm going to find somebody that I love.
Just to be clear,
Well,
hold on,
he
just to
fucks
be
up
clear.
their lives,
Hold on,
let's
just
be
to be
honest.
hold on.
True.
Hold on. Let me ask
Okay,
a clarifying question here to counterpoint. So just to be clear, you do not require regret. You'd like it, but you do not require regret.
I don't think he's capable of it. So
No, come on.
So then maybe
No,
that's
I'm serious.
maybe that's what you were saying about Trump, where you just say no more. Then, if he cannot feel regret for harming other people, maybe we just say no more. Maybe we say no more even before the illegal stuff. Maybe we say no more for the Lawrence Southern stuff.
No,
because
this is
he
actually
shows that he doesn't give a fuck about anybody. And
No,
it's
no,
not
no, no,
just sexual
hold on.
or gooning. It goes
Regret-
beyond that.
regret is not required for a modification of behavior.
But
So for
modification
instance,
of behavior isn't sufficient. Is what I'm
helps.
saying.
for me it is 100%.
Why would the modification of behavior be enough to absolve for actual bad behavior. I get if he was starting at 0 and he modified behavior and stayed at 0, but you have to have some level of retribution, some sort of absolution
Oh
for
my
what you
God.
have done.
No, okay. So hold on.
Why
Let
would that not be
me
the case?
follow
If
you
you've
there.
done damage to people and to an entire political space, why would you not be expected to then contribute in
So-
some net positive way to that
So
space?
He's
That-
going to
that
do
let
that
me
with
follow-
the
the
negativity.
lawsuit that's going
Okay.
on. He's literally going to pay for that. There's going to be restitution.
No, but why not? Why
There's
not in a way
difference
that
between
directly?
restitution and retribution, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
no, it's not about retribution either. It's about him
Just
actually
that.
contributing to repairing the damage he did to the space,
That's
not just
fair.
to himself. And
Okay,
to the
that's
victim themselves.
fair. That's fair. Like, I'm
Yeah,
a big believer in the idea that your body doesn't only belong to you. Like, you can't like take heroin and then expect your family to be okay with it. And the same thing is kind of true with Destiny. Destiny has chained himself to this political movement a lot, and what he's done here is like everybody who's defending Destiny right now, or not even defending Destiny, defending his usefulness or something, should be at most the most mad at the man himself, at Destiny, what
Yeah,
he's done
it's
to his own
humiliating.
reputation.
yeah.
Like-
But that's the other thing that I don't think we've touched on with the difference when people brought up Trump. One of the big differences is like the primary utility of Trump, either positively or negatively to all of us, is the policy things that he does as president. That's like the lion's share of who he is and what he is to us and how it affects
No, it's not.
us.
No,
But,
the lion's share is
okay,
that
not to you,
raped
but to
Lucian
everybody
Carroll.
else. The thing that
Yeah, to any
that
reasonable
affects
human
us-
being.
No, to any reasonable human being, the thing that affects you the most, literally in a factual sense, is if he fucks your taxes,
on, so-
takes away your guns, all that kind of shit.
Jeptan. So if
Oh my
Destiny
God.
was a Democratic politician and not a streamer, you would consider voting for him if his policies
No, because
were...
I'm gonna finish the point. So not only is he bad as a political operative, but we are also ignoring the fact that he is also, most of his personality, like at least half of his content, is him talking about interpersonal shit. Like 20% of it was him talking about how to manage sexual relationships and consent. So the
Yeah.
issue is, you can't just say, when you have to accept that when you say wrongly, just incorrectly, that he will now still be effective as a political operative as long as we cover for him enough. When you incorrectly say that, you are also accepting the damage he will do along the way, because he will continue to be who he is, which is
How is
someone
it
who
that Donald Trump
proselytizes morally and tells people how to live their lives, whether he says, I'm not telling you how to do it, I'm telling you what I do. He's still instructing a lot of young men on how he sees consent, how he views this stuff, and it clicks for them, and they agree with it, and then they see him do this, and then they see people covering for him, and so that becomes married to what they knew from him before, and they
I want to address
are
this directly.
just as willing to follow it.
Yeah, I want to address this directly. So, turns out polyamorous liberals are retarded about relationships. Who fucking knew, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And so I think that if you were, I don't know, a center-right neocon guy who was in Destiny's orbit, then if some liberals, like the fucking bisexuals in my fucking chat, bisexual isn't a slur, right?
Wait, why are you throwing bisexuals under the bus?
Jesus
Because they're in
Ignore
my
it.
chat.
Let him go.
Weird
He's not
shit
going to
on the
finish his
show.
point if you keep...
They're in my
Fine,
chat.
got my
They're
chat.
being very annoying about it. They're like,
I
I'm
love my
bi.
chat,
I'm like,
especially
fuck
the ones
off.
that give me
All right.
Who
money.
the fuck is in your chat? Like, oh, look at me. I'm
Bisexuals, he said.
Okay, he called his chat bisexuals. We can move past that.
Half of them.
Carry
So
on.
anyways, so what I'm going to tell them is the proof is in the fucking pudding, right? If you evaluate it, you can be like, oh yeah, he's a millionaire. He dates hot women, et cetera, et cetera. Those are things that 19-year-olds are interested in. If you're fucking 25 or older and you still care about dating some fucking hot 19-year-old Instagram thought, you're sexually retarded. I'm just going to share that with you. Like you're actually like, there's something stunted about your emotional and sexual development that you should try to evolve. Okay. And then here comes the sweep. Okay. Bad as a political operative. The reason why I kind of take issue with this is because people use the election as the barometer through which they evaluate Destiny's personal effectiveness within the election. I can't think of another streamer or political figure who actually participated in electoral politics and got a few dozen to a few hundred people to show up to knock on thousands of doors, and also got people to volunteer to live in canvassing houses over the course of a year that added cumulatively up to I think PV's claim is 1.6 million voter contacts. You can say that it didn't win the election, and I will fucking hear you all day on that shit, that it wasn't fucking enough. But tell me
His audience.
Tell me another alternative media figure who has mobilized their audience in another similar way, and I don't think you can.
Sorry, to clarify, what I'm saying is from this point forward that there's a reality where he's an effective
damaging to that
political operative.
aesthetic, sure.
That's what I'm saying. So right now, from this point forward is what I'm talking about, because that's the conversation we're having is should people not excuse, because I get you're not excusing, but should people sort of allow it to fall into the background naturally as things in the internet do, and so that he can be a political operative. I know, but that's what generally the tweet that Wick brought up at the very beginning of the panel said. Well, they were a little more aggressive, but what I'm saying is by doing that, you're kind of in football terms, you're paying top dollar for like an aging veteran quarterback. You've seen Destiny's best days now, and you're paying him for what he could do before. You're expending political capital to support someone who's done things like that.
Who's going to replace him?
At this point, that's what everyone says about aging quarterbacks that get paid too much. Who's going to be who this guy has been? The issue is he's not capable of being that guy anymore now. So you're paying him for what he used to be.
I think maybe
you guys should keep him around, actually. Jeb's making a good point.
Yeah, maybe liberals should keep him around.
Maybe they should.
They never look that
That's
bad.
a good point, actually.
They never look that bad once people start.
You're doing some sneaky shit. I see.
Yeah.
When
you know what?
Start having these conversations, the aging quarterback never looks that bad yet. That's why it's still a conversation. It's only 2 years later when people finally look back and say, "Oh yeah, we fucked up."
Maybe we're going too hard on the guy.
Okay. You know, could have replaced Destiny like rhetorically, and here I'm gonna like earn some looks here. Mr. Girl, I think he's like the only guy who
there's
who
that young
actually
cat
trounced Destiny on the regular.
Who's that one guy who was on Temple recently? Who's that? Not the Dean Withers guy. Who's that one guy who was on
They're
Temple
all twinks.
Recently? No, on Temple. On Temple.
Luke Beasley.
Dean Withers.
No, not
Luke
Beasley. That kid is intelligent enough to be better than Destiny because he's not held back by the bullshit.
Wait, what's it? Never mind.
But people only have so many hours in a day to invest in creators, and so the more investment we put in the aging fuck quarterback, the less we can develop the young.
I'm not going to listen to. I'm not going to listen to Jet. Like,
wait, no, you can make the argument that Destiny.
I don't want to fucking listen to fucking Luke Beasley.
Do you think that guy's ever going to be able to grow?
Liberals might.
I don't think he's. I don't think he's the right play as a Democrat.
Wait, who's Luke Beasley?
Luke Beasley?
Hold on. He's part of that, like the group that
I think he comes off as a. I'll just say this because I don't want to get too much into it. Right? I don't want to get too much into it, but I think he comes off as uncanny valley, right? I don't think his takes are genuine. I think he is a machine in a lot of ways.
He looks manufactured, not just as like his.
He looks like he came out of a factory. And
he does look a little like
Brett Cooper came out of a fucking factory, and look at her. That's the most fucking frigid plastic fucking uncanny valley bitch I've ever fucking met, and she's a multi-millionaire at 22.
Look, I understand.
They're being like, hey, look at this TikTok.
I want
this
someone
TikTok
human
sucks.
that I'm not that I don't suspect of having like this like Neuralink installed in his brain.
Sure, so let's go with the guy everyone here agrees is probably a sociopath.
No, I'm not saying Destiny is the alternative here. I'm saying that like Luke Beasley it wouldn't be my choice.
Luke Beasley
at the very least, Wick, you would agree that like the people who like just couldn't wrap their fucking heads around the idea that somebody might like, well, look, it's Trump against Kamala. Fuck it, like Trump has some negative character flaws. I get, but still the policy considerations are so much. You would have to. Agree I would agree. The people who are dumbfounded about that, like they can't be hypocritical about this. Like they have to be eating their words if they are saying this argument.
Like this is the same argument they're making in reverse though about Destiny. They're saying that Destiny, like, yeah, he's not good, but look at the alternatives.
I understand that.
Right.
That's why I started with saying that.
But that's the strategy you've already involved yourself in. So how come it's fair for you?
I already explained.
No, it's not though because he doesn't support Elijah Schaffer.
It is fair.
I already explained this. Hi, can I respond?
It is
fair. Can you not find a single one-to-one comparison?
Wait.
Yeah, I do like Adam Mockler, by the way. Adam Mockler might be a.
You did. You make a point. You're saying why doesn't it go the way around for you? That was your point, was it not?
No. What I'm trying to say.
No, it wasn't. Okay, it better not be.
Republicans are fully within their rights to elect a rapist Jeffrey Epstein's best friend.
So it was the point. This was the point.
Let me finish.
You tried to save him from it. Why are you trying to save him, Lack?
If it means
He's making the bad point.
actually enacting the political agenda that they're trying to enact. It is absolutely a legitimate strategy to elect bad. Are you just gonna keep talking over me? Like what?
You've done that the whole panel.
What's going on here?
Every single point has been but Trump. I get it, but Trump. I can respond to it again.
No, hold on. No,
Destiny was running for president against
I know
Trump.
You have like 30
I wouldn't
IQ
blame you
and
for
like
voting for him.
You're accusing him of interrupting, Jebtan, but Trump.
Yeah,
hold
but
on.
also Trump.
Dude, no. Trump means you've.
Trump interrupts more. Trump interrupts more, and we tolerate him.
Oh my God, what the
Rone,
fuck?
if Destiny was running
how can we criticize
Trump,
you for interrupting Trump?
Okay, enough. All of you shut up. All of you shut up. All of you. What does all of you mean? It means all of you. It means all of you. Okay, all of you. Great. Wonderful. Gang. It's almost 9 o'clock. Rone! Shut up.
But Trump.
Stop! You too! Like, you guys are physically incapable of shutting the fuck up. You just all are. You too. Counterpoints. Oh my God. You're an old man, old as me. You should know better. Just shut the fuck up. We're reconnoitering here. We're reconvening. Okay. Great, gang. It's 9 o'clock. I got places to be. I got things to do. I got all sorts of stuff to take care of. Okay. I want to give each of you lovely individuals, an outro. Tell people where you can be found, right? Tell people your final thoughts on this. And then, right, we can finally end this thing. Which one of you is still going to be streaming after this? Raise your hand.
Not me.
No one. Great. I'll find someone to read into. Okay, with that said, we're going to start with counterpoints. We're going to end with Rone. Counterpoints, closing thoughts. Where can people find you?
Yep. Closing thoughts. I think we all do this. I think we all sweep for people in our political tribe, and we also point out the personal flaws of the other people in the other tribe. I absolutely think that Destiny fucked up. However, I think that unless more is revealed, this will die down in approximately 6 months, and he will still be one of the biggest Twitch and YouTube political streamers. All of that will change if something else comes out. When it comes to consequences, I don't need him to personally feel an emotion that he is not capable of feeling. I need him to stop shitty behavior and to demonstrate that over a prolonged period of time. Whether or not that's possible, I have no fucking idea. If you want to check out my content, my most popular content is Warhammer 40K. We're about to break 100,000 subs. We've had 2 or 3 months recently where we broke 1 million views. It's been fantastic. So if you're into science fiction and fantasy and violence, check that out. I also started a Star Wars channel, which I'm following the same formula for. So check out Counterpoints 40K.
Okay. Thank you for being here. Check out. I got some DMs in my DMs saying they want to fight you at some point about your witches comment, but we'll set that up at a later time. Okay.
Sounds good.
Sinte, go ahead.
Okay. You tweeted at one point, like, if we win by abandoning our principles, we don't deserve to win. That was you, Wick.
Yep, I stand by it.
And I like that tweet. It's pretty succinct. I like it. But I think that can only be said by somebody who doesn't know what losing looks like. Because I think losing might look quite harsh this time around. Sure, and it's only Destiny. But next week, it's only Rachel Maddow. And next week, it's only going to be Jon Stewart. It's only ever going to be like one person. But yeah, this is like death by 1,000 cuts. This is no good. Like sticking to your principles at a time like this, on which I think this means, like, I hasten to say proto, like, authoritarian something, whatever this turns out to be, is like polishing silver on the Titanic. Like all your high-minded principles, you can write them on your gravestone. It's going to be great. You can take them in the gulag, and it'll keep you warm at night, I'm pretty sure. Principledness is a finite resource. Be principled where it matters. Have a hierarchy of principles, and there you go. You can find me on Twitter and or Blue Sky at Kalianike.
Okay, thank you. Check him out, gang. Link is in the YouTube description. I'll just say very briefly that if Rachel Maddow or Jon Stewart are found to have done what Destiny did, I think that they should also be held accountable. Anyone in the Democratic Party who is found to non-consensually record, leak nudes, what have you, should be held accountable to some degree, depending on what they did and the circumstances beyond that. I would not even Biden, right? Not even the highest of the high, right? Should be someone we should cover for, and when they do bad things. That's a principle I have, and I will not apologize for it. Okay, let's give it to Jebtan. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the Destiny Trump comparison is ridiculous. It was a whataboutism that was present this whole time. The fact is, if Destiny and Trump were running against each other for president, I would say if you're a Democrat, you should vote for Destiny. Because at the end of the day, like Cinta actually said, you should have a hierarchy of principles. And you can stick by your principles in condemning Trump, but then understanding that if the Democrats come in and take all of the guns away, or they do anything that goes against your greater principles that affect far more people, then you have surrendered one principle for another. You haven't stood by all of your principles anyway. When it comes to someone like Destiny, though, the reason why the only person here that brought up someone actually comparable to Destiny was Connor, and he named 3 people, none of whom me or Lactoid support, because in the one-to-one comparison, we are perfectly morally consistent on this, and we don't support people who do those things when there is no other principle we are conflicting with in order to support them. That is the problem. Destiny, like I said, I think even as a political operative, you're paying top dollar for an aging quarterback whose best years are behind him. And I understand Luke Beasley, Adam Mockler, none of them look like Destiny now. Destiny then didn't look like Destiny now. And in order to move an audience towards someone and develop a fan base, people have to first give them the chance and go be a part of their fan base. I don't agree with Adam Mockler or Beasley on fucking anything. But at the end of the day, it would be better for Democrats, even on a practical perspective politically, to support people who are better than this. In the final thought on the Destiny shit, I hate this line of if anything else comes out. It seems like every time something new comes out, people then move that line and say, well, if anything else comes out, then it'll... I think we should all just accept. His community is largely filled with pieces of shit that admire him for his special variety of being a piece of shit, and they don't care. His community want to watch the stream they've been watching. They don't care about the victims because they don't know them, and that's why he's going to succeed, not because what he did isn't bad or you should still support him because of it, just because his audience doesn't give a fuck. At the end of the day, he should be condemned and he shouldn't be allowed in Democrat mainstream politics, and you guys are going to feel the pain if he is.
Where can people find you?
Jeb10 RIP on Twitter. I don't really stream or anything.
Fair enough. Blackhood.
I think Jeb10 makes good points. I know I went kind of hard this panel, and I didn't really mean to, I guess, be overly antagonistic towards people here. I think a lot of it is just a frustration that I have when I perceive people to, have this sort of cognitive dissonance about a situation that, is pretty bad. Like I've said, I mean, if the allegations are true, each individual allegation taken alone might seem like, yeah, it's bad, but it's not like the end of the world. But you're seeing a pattern of behavior. Like you're seeing something repetitive. If you're on your 8th DWI, like that's a problem. Your first one might not be that big of a deal, but your 8th one will, right? You have proven yourself to be, you can't be rehabilitated, right? Like what will it take for you to stop? That's the question I think people need to ask themselves. And I get frustrated when instead of, taking a I think really critical look at this, people will choose to instead play team games to the point where, it's not like a actual analysis of, oh shit, yeah, like, et cetera. This is really bad. This is fine. We, this should be acknowledged. This should be a question that we have. As opposed to, no, we're going to sweep it for this guy, even when he has shown no apology, even when he bans you if you criticize him, even when he has shown really, I think, ruthless tyranny in exacting control over his audience, right? Like, it's not even, if there's an apology, I could even like maybe take that in mind, like, oh shit, he's actually sorry. Like he couldn't have handled this. I mean, I guess you could have handled this worse, I guess, right? But like, you're close to as bad as you could handle it. And this idea of like, well, yeah, our guy did something bad, but your guy did something worse. This is like Bloods versus Crips logic. you could take this to the ends of the earth. Like the road here is paved with skulls. They did some, like their tribe killed one of our tribes, so we're gonna go kill one of them. Like they did that, therefore, their team, their identity, their group, like white people enslaved us, therefore they are responsible. Black people do crime, therefore they are responsible, as opposed to looking at people what they actually are, which is individuals. And I think Destiny should be judged on his individual actions here, which have been relatively horrific. Again, seeing it as a pattern. But I think that I got a lot of good feedback during this discussion. I think people had really good criticisms, and I don't think there's anybody here who is, really defending the behavior. And even the people who are sort of like trying to, aim the direction at Trump at times would be like, yeah, it's pretty fucking bad. So that's good to see. That's good to see.
Hey, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Lactoid TV on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube.
Check them out, gang. Last but certainly not least, Rone, go ahead.
Hey, I'd like to address DGG directly. Look, this is humiliating, and there's really no getting around that. You should feel humiliated. Like, it's good that you feel humiliated, and I just want to make sure that you know that feeling of humiliation makes you infinitely better than any of these treasonous rapist supporting slime fucks. For that feeling of humiliation actually makes you like a little bit self-critical, which is something that they do not have, like, even in the slightest. That feeling definitely like separates you from these like pieces of shit. You can support his political project, but don't become like Trump supporters who run cover for the worst America has to offer.
Okay, where can people find you?
They can find me around.
Okay, fair enough. Gang, like the stream if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel. This was a tough one, but we got through it. Relatively principled, I think, as a discussion point. I'm going to say bye to these lovely individuals, read the rest of your super chats, and then call it a night. So, wave a bye, everyone.
Parasocial.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Okay. Wow. Here's my take. Really quick. Okay? Don't use other people's bad behavior to excuse bad behavior on your side. Stop doing it. It's not good. Bad. Beautiful. Let's read some super chats. Here we go. $2 from Deej Nuts. Keep comparing them to Nazis. It's working. $5 from Deej Nuts. Why the hell would you forgive someone who doesn't even pretend to show remorse for something horrific? And look, it's not about forgiveness. I think I can't forgive him because he didn't wrong me. That's up to the victims to forgive. What the question is what level of support and what level of how we, as audience members, as streamers, should deal with the situation. And I've said before, right? I'll have pretty much anyone on my platform. If Destiny wanted to come and talk about something, he could. I have not banned him. However, I will not defend, condone, or run cover for any criticisms of him while he's on my show. And I will talk to him about those things, criticize those things, and that will be a discussion if that happens. It's up to him. Okay, $5 more from the Trib one. If left-wingers and right-wingers both held to their principles, Trump wouldn't have been in office in 2016 nor 2024. We, the left, should tweak ours. Thank you for the $5. And then $2 more from the Trib one. Republicans lie about our politicians anyway. But some lies are believable and some lies are unbelievable. Sometimes lies work, sometimes they don't. One of the things is we got to make sure as Democrats to give as little ammo to the Republicans as possible. That means being honest. Absolutely. It's good strategy and it's good morals. So yeah. I don't require Charles. Charles says, no matter how much the left improves itself and holds itself to a higher standard, the right will never reciprocate. Doesn't matter. I think that if we held ourselves to a higher standard consistently, and there is enough of a gap between us, then we win. And they can continue to be bad actors. They'll lose. The problem we have is that gap that we have is a much narrower than many would like to think. And we need to make the gap larger. That's all. Okay. That's it. Tomorrow I may or may not have a stream. I'm not sure yet, but we'll definitely be back next week for some great shows, including on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, on Thursday when I will be having Pisco and a few others, the soy pill, and a few others. We're going to talk about whether or not Trump has placed the United States of America in a constitutional crisis. We'll talk about that next week. Gang, I love you. You guys are great. We're just getting the show, okay? And I'll see you guys when I see you. Bye-bye.